Hello future tech leaders, I am Sindhuja. Based on my own experience, I know that learning the right skills can shape our future. What if I say learning was as thrilled as the tech world itself? There we go. A cloud foundation, that's exactly what you will experience. From day one, you will be immersed in the interactive sessions and expert-led courses that covers most of the widely used technologies in the zone of data science to cloud computing, which brings more light to the life of a techie. I'm so excited to help you and unlock the true potential of a technology. Well, then why to wait? Let's see what it unfolds.
I have 5 years and 5 months of experience working in Kronos. As a developer, I have developed multiple things in implementation, integration, and other building blocks. 3 years I worked with PCA, Starter Consultancy Services, which is one of the India's best IT company. Then I switched to Accenture, which is Ireland-based company, but I'm still working in India. Now I'm solving the notice period. Maybe next month I will be going to another organization. Just serving my notice period. And if you talk about different modules over there in Kronos, you might have heard about time and attendance scheduling, advanced scheduling, forecasting. If you talk about the central, there would be RIM, WDM, but if you talk about the dimension, it's almost the same. We have the time and attendance module, advanced scheduling, forecasting, and then attestation is also over there. There are multiple modules. And I have walked apart from that attestation. I walked on other models. The modules which I haven't walked, I didn't got a chance because it's not being yet transferred to my current team. These are attestation, a leave of absence attendance. These are the few pre-models which I haven't walked. And you might have got the trim details. We will be going through that now. Under the dimension, there are 2 tracks. The implementation and integration. I have completed both and I have worked on both of them. If you talk about the implementation and under the implementation, it comes like creating the pay policies, taking care of employment on direct was the scheduling, advanced scheduling, and the common set of the system setting their access profile. All those things, whichever we've developed or whichever we configure into the system setup, that is all about that implementation track. And if you talk about the integration track, it's purely on the integration side. You might know about the integration that it's a way of transferring data or from the Kronos to another application or getting the data from another application to Kronos. That's the integration. Now, in dimension for integration. Previously for the central, it was VM which comes with the central, but now with the newer version, we call it as VFM, that now a WFM Pro. The name got changed few months back. Now the WFM Pro known as Dimension, it uses Delboom. In order to create the integration. Now what is Delboomi? Delboomi is an application, another application which is used to create the integrations. Previously, we were using VMbox Source Integration Manager. Now what we are using? We are using Delboomi. Now there are certain things which gives add-on advantage when we use the. We are Delboomi instead of Vim. There are few restrictions over the VM, like we can create certain things, and it's very difficult for someone who comes and directly start learning the VM integration. And along with that, that person needs to be good with the database and with the SQL. In our central, somewhat, these two are the basic things you need to know whenever you go with the well-descent. But in dimension, whenever we go with the Del Boomi, it's the shapes we need to remember. There would be a shape for DC, making the decision where needs to be. If it's a true, go to that part of it. The false, go to that part. There would be connections, which is used to make the connections between your Kronos to the DB to a different application. Those connection is required. Connection details is required. And then it's a drag and drop. You can drag the shapes, put it over there, make the connections, use the logic over there. It's a kind of easiest way to understand those things. That's why they implemented with Del Boomi and Del Boomi. Previously, it was known as Del Boomi. Now it's Boomi only because the venture will be done. Del is completed. Now they have their own separate one, which is known as now Boomi. And it's free to learn the Boomi. And in terms of integration, I will give you an overview how we check the results, how we run the integrations. And from our application, how we go to the respective associated Del Boomi. These few things, I will give you a tool that once you learn the Del Boomi, you would be able to connect those things or remember or relays. Just to give you a glimpse, the label levels which we are using in Central. And along with that, we have organization map. Now it's a business structure and labor levels are somewhat different. It's now known as labor category with some add-on limitation, add-on layer of configuration. The work could be almost similar for that, labor categories and labor level. And what I would do with the organization maps, the same, almost same thing as some of the business structure. But they have changed few things. The way we create those things is different. Other than that, you might know that at organization mapping used to do the scheduling. The employer exactly in is to go, in is to start the working. What would be the actual job of that person? Same kind of things is done by business. And it's again, the organization map is going to hierarchy. Business structure is again the hierarchy. It's pretty much almost same. You most 3 things to the different things. First one, as you said, it's the business structure, which gets organization map. This change to business structure and labor levels will change to labor categories. The next thing, the employee group. Previously, if you have configured, you might remember that whenever we create the organization set over there, we can directly create an employee group kind of thing where we restrict the managers to look into their employees. And we cannot mix match the labor levels along with that employer. Those two things separately been assigned into the manager's profile. Correct. Now what they have done in Dimension, they have created an add-on layer or add-on blocks. Name as employee group. Then we use that structure, the org set. Whether it's a manager job transfer set or the job transfer set or manager organization set or job, or you can have been set these two things over there. We use manager organization set. And along with that, we can give a restriction of labor categories. That's the one thing. It's an add-on thing. The third or second or third option, change there over there. Now, with a single assignment of employee group, We can restrict the managers with their whatever the employee they see or whatever employee is working on at particular jobs they can see. Along with that, we can restrict with the labor categories. That's the second under the business structure. If you talk about the equals, it's almost same. But only a small change is there. Previously, you might have heard about prorating. Prorating in the equitable. That is not there in dimension now. That's just telling you the small differences that you would understand, or maybe during the session you would let me know like these are the changes. Please focus on that one. I might miss few things, but I will go with the course content and will complete those things. And this is all about the act. The access profile is same. The approval small change. The business structure, the common setup is pretty much same, under which we create the hyperfiles, the known IP address and all these things. It's pretty same. UI wise, the how we interact with the things. Previously we interacting with the Genie's workspace navigators. If you remember those things like how we select a particular thing is like quick find Genies, the time for Genius or any other things. The quick find Genius, the sign off. A payroll sign off. Genius, the employee detail Genius. These are different Genius which we use. And if you talk about the workspace, they can be multiple things. Or widgets. If you remember the widgets, the time schedule widgets, specifically there's a quick find Genius and a quick find widgets also is there. These we leads with the widgets, navigators, the Genius. But now with the dimension, we deal with types. There would be like in a floor, there would be a block that we call at the times. A small blocks. Similarly, in the screen there would be a blocks and each blocks will be responsible for working a certain kind of things. Those things will be known as styles and there are n number of times already been developed. It just comes with the package. And if you want, you can customize the time. Now, that's the comment. Now somebody paid policy. It's almost same. One more thing got added like in between, I think almost same like 9% of the same. One small thing got added in dimension. There was sign of restriction. If you remember, like if someone wants to do the sign off, they needs to have, and then it's to remove those particular mentioned thing under the sign of restriction. Like let's say there is an ask on excuse absence labs like someone is like schedule but he didn't come up to the office. That comes under as an excuse absence. Those things if you mentioned under the sign of restriction. If that particular thing is there in your time card, your manager won't be able to do the sign off. Similar way now in dimension, approval restriction got added. You can restrict the managers employed to do the approval of their time card if certain kind of exceptions are there. Rest, the most of the things are same. The payroll walk rule, commission rule, the overtimes, the rest of the constraints and all these things are same. And I'm not done nothing. Much change over there within a normal goal. If you have walked in Central, you will be able to understand this. This is all about the configuration part. Advanced scheduling and all forecasting. We won't be covering that because again, that thing is very vast. and we need some additional time for that. This is not included in this particular curriculum. I will give you some tips, like some of the overview of those things. Or if you need, I can share you some of the notes for the forecasting which I have. But you need to tell me. You need to remind me like you were supposed to share those things. And we'll go with the basic scheduling, the normal scheduling, like how the schedule is created, how pattern template is created, how shift is created, and the way the manager handles those things. You might know about these things, just to brush up with you. Like how we can assign our managers assigned by using the employee group, by using the employment term, or by one employee at a time. All these things will go through. Now, I think the another main difference is previously we were having OBDM works with device manager in order to do the configuration of devices. Now it's known as Universal Device Manager UDM in Dimension. A slight different way to do that. I'll just give you, if you remember those building blocks, there is a slight different way to create a match. I'll just give you overview of that because we don't have actual device to show you those things. Now that for that we need a device. Actual devices is required in order to tell you like how we will be. Maybe connection out to clear too, but that's not possible yet. That's part. I gave you the overview. Then we have a Dell Boomi. Boomi, which is used for the integration. Again, as I said, I will give you the tour of that. I hope you might have gone through the course curriculum. Oh, it might be shared to you. I'm not sure. But yet, this is what our course curriculum is. You can see my screen. We'll start with the basic. I'll give you a tool like what all the man employees to the manager's task is the payroll manager. Some companies do have their separate manager for the payroll work and separate for engaging with the employees. Then these are like basic overview of the application, how you use the help, what are the different exceptions, how you deal with the time card, and how you take care of the time card. If there is an exception, how we remove, like I assume most of the part you already know, but it's a long back. You need a brush up for that. We'll go with that. If you remember anything, just let me know that we can skip that part which you say. Then each are the people for the employees, profile different things over there. Where we assign those things, what I have done, functionality of that, what are the different licenses we have. One more thing over here, a license is known as entitlement. Sometimes it may happen like I work on both central and dimension. I might say sometime license, sometime in there. I'm familiar with the entitlement. Like I said, some stuff I've kind of been exposed to, but I haven't physically put my hands on it and got to work with it. I usually my current client using both. I started my career with Central 6.1, 6.3 and 7.1 and 8, 7.1 or 7K because the one from SET came into this project. 6 months, after 6 months it gets decommissioned. I'm not very much known about that. Then 8.1 and then Dimension. These are my flow of slick versions which I have worked on. Now they're using it. Find one along with Dimension. It may happen that we like switching between the license and entitlement sometimes get mismatched. We'll go through the basic scheduling, difference between basic scheduling, advanced scheduling, and how we use the shares, how we create those things, what are schedule groups, all the things we'll talk about. the schedule. Then, as I said, business structure, see a labor categories. We were having labor levels. Now we have labor categories, and these 4 things go with the labor categories. Same like in levels. We create the types on the labor level, different levels. Then we create what all entries require, what all details require. Then we group them that the manager can use only those. Same way we create over here. And this jobs and business structure is same as organization map almost. That's the thing, business structure. Then we go with the no pay policies. Most of the thing you might have heard of by the rounding, no exception, break, bonus and deduction, the combination rule, PCD and all these things. You are in. This is the new, that's what I saw, approval restriction. It is there in dimension. That's all the things I've seen. As per my knowledge, almost same pay policy, no difference. Then we'll talk about the ACK rules. I already told you about the prorating of the things, which is a difference. Less things are same for the ACK rules also. And then we go deep into the basic scheduling. The process, how we set up, how we create those things. And then we'll talk about the access. For you might have known about the FEPI, GDAP and Data Access Profile, the short format, the Function Access Profile, General Data Access Profile and Data Access Profile. These are already accessed for login. Profile is also. This is used to control the functionality. What all things you can use, what all access you can have, what all settings you can see. These all comes under the access profile, then under the display preference. The display source is different. We will be talking about the data view and the homepage settings. Like we know, I think I might not have explained you that in Central we were having the access of database. Over, we don't have. We cannot access database. In order to compensate that, they have given us a data. Yes. That is kind of like if you don't access the DB, you might need some data. What we do in SQL? We type in the what all columns we read, what all details of the columns we need. Then we put on the relation multiple joins, inner join, outer join, and then we give the where conditions, what all details we need. But in data view, it's very easy for us data view. It is you can give me 1 second. In data view, it's very easy for us. It's just that we need to select the columns and the system will give you the details that's set. Oh, in SQL previously, sorry. Previously, we need to remember what all relations are there in one table to another table. You might have heard about the foreign key, the primary key concept, and all these things in database. We need to remember how we can join the person table with the another shift segment table. How we can? We need to go with some timesheet item table and then we can. But over here in data view, there is a one click. If you click that checkbox, that means that relation will come up. If you don't check, if you don't do the checkbox of that particular block, that means you can select any columns. No relation is required. You can just select the columns and the system will give you the data. That's a pretty easy one. And then we'll talk about the times also over here. That's not mentioned. I think I forgot to mention it's in the starting. It's mentioned. We'll talk about the tiles and it I'll give you one or two how we create the custom tiles also, but it's not very useful, like 2.5 totally into dimension. But then, like, no one asked us to create a custom tile set because there are 70 tiles already being created for the system by the UK. Let's say if you say you want to see the overtime worked by your employee, yes, we have a tiles for that. If you want to see your time card, directly details of your time, we have a tiles for that. If you want to see what on balance you have for the actual, yes, we have a tiles for that. If you want to see which particular job your employee is doing, we have a tiles for that. We have a number of like almost 270 tiles, and mostly, I mean, the manager can select what all tiles need. But there is an add-on layer from us, very strict, what all tiles they can see. And then from that particular option, they can select what all they want into their profile. Now then the common setup, as I said, it's almost same: batch processing, batch job list, hyperfind queries, delegate profile, and other blocks. The integration overview, as I said. Under that it's obvious, if you want to know the integration, you need to know how we do deal with the cross-reference table CRT. Then system information and system setting for review. And few more things are there, like SDM. I'll give you a tour of SDM in order to transfer the data from one platform to another platform. How we do that? And like as I said, Delgo like how we access the Delbo, meaning integration. Yes, that's done. The UDM overview is also we will go through. And in between, if I need anything extra, I'll share with you. It's not like we will cover this one. And apart from that, whenever I need anything, I'll let you know. A global time of request. It's almost same, but I'll do that too. We'll go through that. When we go to their calls, and not we'll go through that. I'll mention over here that I'll remember. At the bottom, I will mention. Sounds good. But always felt forward, and we might miss that thing. Global time of request. No interaction with that is different. But under that, you remember that we need to create the transaction settings, software setting, the device profile, device communication settings. We need to update the firmware, if you want to load the logo, we need to those. Things are almost similar. But the way we interact, where we go to that place to create the application, it's different. But obviously it was straightforward in the setup. Now it's not straightforward in the setup. We have a different tab for that. Once you click on that device option, it will give you a new tab, and that tab will help you to understand those things like, or there would be what all devices you have. And then from there you go to the place where we do the configuration. Now we were talking about the Kronos, like it's used to drag the labors. There might be scenarios where some companies do have less employees, some might have more employees. Based on that, also the Kronos, the UKG, the Ultimate Kronos. Previously it was known as Kronos, but they now changed their name. The company name, the parent company, is changed to Ultimate Kronos Group, that is UKG. They have 3 software running. 3 applications, out of which we already know the Central. They will stop the supporting of Central from next year. Central would be there for the clients, but from UKG sites. Whenever. Sometimes it may happen that if you are stuck in a critical situation, then you can reach out to the UKG teams and they'll ask you the logs. They'll ask you what exactly happened, the details. Then they will provide you the root cause analysis of that. It happens. There is always a semi assigned to a client, but going forward they will stop those things. It would be on your own. Your client will have the separate SME to help you out. We can say like there would be the opportunity, more opportunity in Central as compared to current scenario because there won't be someone supporting from UKG side. They will find out someone from the market to support us. The client will do correct. You will find a partner. That way also we can think of correct. And dimension. We already know dimension would be there. The UKG support would be there, but they need more normal implementation or integration employee in order to do the configuration. The SME would be from their side. But during the process, like whenever client joins you, that's the normal process that if you want a particular application from the UKG, they don't charge for the applications. Direct for the application. They usually go with the entitlement. How many entitlement or a specific license or entitlement you required, they have their own dollar and charges based on the number of employees. You can go ahead. That gives an add-on advantage for the Kronos because like if you have 100 employees, you can pay for 100 license or entitlement. If you have lakhs of employees, you can pay for lakhs of licenses. This makes Kronos very accessible or purchasable for every client. Now, based on talking about the three products, Central and Dimension, we already talked. Then there is a ready application. That is used by small organization or mid-sized organization. Though the clients or the company that has like around 10,000 in thousands of human capital. Labors, they usually prefer to go with a ready application. Now, like again, the Kronos is cloud-based software solution. And it is used for handle the workforce, or basically we can say it's an HCM that we call as human capital management software. Now what exactly Kronos do for us? Like some application, like say for example, we have a SAP or SuccessFactors. That particular application is used to maintain the HR system. The employees would be hired over there and then it will transfer to the Kronos. SAP is basically used to create the profile of employees, input the details of an employee, correct? Whereas the Kronos will help you to take care of all those things from the pre-hire or hire of the employee to the payment. In between, whatever things you can assume, everything is done by Kronos. That's true. You have already used Central. Everything is handled by Kronos. Like if you want to create a new employee, give them the license they can use. If you don't give them the license, they won't be able to use correct. And for the payroll team, what all details we send to the payroll team? Do you have any idea of that? Irish in reference to the stuff that you're going over. I didn't want to stop you in the middle, but all of this I already know in reference to the workforce, central workforce, dimension versus ready. Also in reference to UltiPro. UltiPro of course is Kronos is I'll say compatible to say per workday or whatever. PeopleSoft. That part I already know in reference to licenses, how to set them up or whatever. That part I know. I guess When you look at employees and look at work rules, change work rules, manage the time for the employees, and of course, pay the employees. Just give me that part. So I'll just go ahead, please. I was just giving you a rough. As you said, you already know this thing. That's good for me. I didn't need to go through those things. Just confirm a few of the things. I'll just ask you the overview. You know all the modules. The basic modules, the timekeeping, scheduling, UDM, we talked about the leave and absence, attendance, attestation. And you already know the architecture, like there would be servers, employee log into the servers, and on top of that there would be load balancer, which will be a common link, which is that part there that you're going over. That's the part. I want to get more detail on the load balancer and all that technical side of it, I guess. Now talking about the load balancer, there would be a number of servers and each of us will have their own specific function. Like some function. Like if I say the function, that means was would be only used by the users that we can say the web servers or user facing servers. And some of them would be for different functionality. Some will have their UDM, some will have the access for the, let's say for a particular block. As we are a developer, we need the application setup access. But the normal employer manager doesn't need that thing. Based on the different server, they categorize the functionality. And whenever for the user perspective, let's say your company has 10 servers, it won't be the good to share the 10 server link to them. Correct. Now there comes the load balancer server. We will share a link to them. That would be the load balancer server link. And that particular load balancer link would be responsible for transferring the employees equally into the different servers. Let's say we have a 10 servers, as I said, and for example, let's say 50 employees has used the load balancer to log in. It will distribute 5 employees on each servers, that there won't be any load or there won't be any crash of server. Every server will have equal number of employees and they would function very smoothly and fast. That is the work of load balancer. Got it. And we know about the modules, the server, and it's obvious the server will be taking care of the work to fetch the data from the database. Now in Dimension, what exactly happening previously? We know in Central, we can directly access the central database, the Oracle DB. But over here, whatever request or data you send to other application or whatever data you need from the database. For database, we have a data. Let's keep aside the database. Let's see if you want to send a data to let's say SAP, or you want a data from SAP or another software like the payroll system. Now, in that current scenario, in the Dimension, what they have implemented, they give a key. Every single client has their own encrypted key in order to decrypt those things. They'll have a key. When you send those data, it would be in any format. Firstly, they will encrypt that with the key. That there won't be any attack or any data loss or someone can randomly get those data. They will do that encryption. Then it will send that particular file to the respective location. Then using the same key, that particular software or that particular environment will decrypt those things. Once the decryption is done, that particular software or application will be using that data. Previously, it was directly going into the DE. And you might see that happening very quickly. But now there is an add-on layer of T that is very unique. And it's very rare that someone will know that key. The highest stakeholders, or let's say the main senior developer, might know about the key. Even I am not sure about the key which is used in my company. And there are lots of other things going around. For example, for the devices correct. Again, we need Postman application. Whenever you want to do that thing, we need the session ID from the postman. We can get those things in order to manipulate the data. These are some add-on security being added in Dimension. Just for knowledge, this is what happening in Dimension. It's not easy to attack or to get the data. These things, the files which you are sending or the file which you are getting, you can see those data into the integration options. There would be the inbound and outbound folder would be there. We'll go through that. Just giving you the rough how the things work for now. In the Dimension now over there, you will directly see the files. But once that file will go into the process of sending or receiving, it will go with that encryption process. Now the other part, you might know the famous things which we use like quick find pay period, close worked account. These are different things where we see how many employees are there and how we find out during the pay policies things. Correct. During the payroll also. Now, as I asked you, do you know what all details we said sent to the payroll for the payment? You know what? All things like pay codes with the respective hours, with employee ID and all. Great. Their respective pay codes, the number of hours they have worked, along with the sum of the details, your employee, ID, your number, your primary job. If you're working at another job, your transfer and all those things. Correct? And you also know the process of hiring an employee, and you know which particular integration is used to get the data into the Kronos from SP, the employee import. Correct. No, not from SAP, but in reference to the people's file. Is that what you're referring to? The people file generates from where? Well, it comes over from the Workday. It comes over from OT Pro or, like you said, Workday or SAP or people file, whatever it is. It comes over. SAP is one of the famous one. For my clients, they are using SP. Like most of the time you'll see SP or success factor. They call it success factor, yep. There are other applications also that I'd say. The Workday is also there, which my current company is using. The current company, not my client. My current company is using Workday. There are a number of software, but mostly the famous one is SAP. From SAP, the file will get generated. Correct. And that file will be taken as an input by the employee import integration. You know about the employee import integration. Then again from the UDM, the data will come into picture. Correct. Now coming to the part of the devices. Let's say it's not obvious that every time there would be the connection. You might know there is a storage in the device. Correct. And yep, they store those data, and once the connection is done, it comes online. It will send those data. If it's not sent, we use collect command to collect those punches. Correct? That you know. This is just a brief I'm giving you. I thought we used any reference to bringing it in reference to bringing the files over. Are we using connect or we're using win? Collect. No, this is for the devices. O for the devices. This is like once your your profile is into the system. Now it's time to work. The company will know once you have the punches, then only the company will you have worked. Correct? Now you already know about the two kinds of approved employee and manager approval. And then top of that we have a sign off. And then there would be the payroll system where we send those data. That is clear. Correct? That's great. And I'm just telling some of the important terminologies. Just let me know you know about it or not. Just going through it. Primary or home account? Primary. That's there. Primary home account. Transfer jobs, transfer location. Across payroll integration. I know most of payroll integration. What are you referring to? No payroll means what's the process? What does payroll mean? The process of how we do those things. Payroll process, like we come online, the managers needs to do the sign off. Then if someone misses the sign off, then the support team will come into picture or developer team like us will come into picture. We'll check whether those sign off is done or not. Then we check the period close or remaining employees for that store, and then we do the sign off. And then we send the respective pay codes, the number of hours to the payroll teams, to the payroll system, and then they will do the paychecks. This is what payroll. And talking about the good. So, no, I was just saying you guys do it a little different. But yes, every company, it's obvious. The managers will sign off, and then once they sign off, the managers sign off and payroll will submit the file. Correct. Some countries, like my current client is Australia. Some countries have a deadline for that. If the payroll team, let's say that in some companies there would be a payroll manager or a normal manager. The payroll team, we can say the payroll team or the normal manager. Manager usually do this, the sign off or the approvals and all these things. If there is another payroll team, then the payroll team will take care of the sign off. And manager will only be based for the manager approval. Some companies have different teams for both of the tasks. Some will have a single person who will taking care of those. And it's obvious every team follows different structure for the Australian. They do have a deadline. But due to some reason or due to some technical issue or anything, if the payroll team misses the deadline, then we need to do the sign off and send the details to the payroll team. Those, the one who do the in-cash. Because they have a deadline that like before 2 p.m. Their time. We need to complete those things that they can prepare the checks and do the payment by end of the day. For the restriction, if there is a restriction, it would be good. And if there is no restriction, it's obvious we can take time and do the things. But for some countries, Australia, US and other countries, they do have restriction. I think most of every country have their own restriction, their labor laws, and the country's law will come into picture. Now just checking. I know you know there are two types of employees, the hourly employer and the salary employees. And how the payroll is done, like what kind of payroll is done for the hourly, it would be weekly or bi-weekly. And for the salary, it would be mostly It would be the monthly one. Correct? Mostly well. Salary I've mostly dealt with bi-weekly and monthly for salary. And then all the others are weekly. That depends. Like it's most of the things depends on how your client process. My previous client when I was in TCS, they were using monthly one. For and a weekly same case over here. It's an Australian. They are using the same thing. But a few of my other friends who are working in other environment, they are doing bi-weekly and monthly. As you said, some do like weekly and bi-weekly, like that they are doing for the hourly and salary. Now integrations. What it does, you understand. In reference to doing integration, sending the data from the various systems, one system to another, feeding into one system to another. Audit means. Audit you can explain that one to me. In system, in order to track what exactly is changed, who has done that change, and when that change is been done by that person, we have an audit tab. If you have gone through the time card at the bottom, there are few options: accruals, then totals, then audit. That audit will tell you, audit will keep the account of all those things. Like what do you have made changes? That means who has done the changes. What changes he has done, for what time, or like which particular time they have done the changes. Everything is stored in the audit. That's why the developer like us. We avoid making changes at the time card because it will capture our name, and that can come up in the yearly audit of the company, the accounting audit. They might ask us. We just avoid those things as a developer. Mostly, we'll ask the manager or the employer to make the change. We know that this change is done by XYZ process. We will explain them and they will do the changes either by sharing the screen or by just by a document. We'll share them and they will in order to not. I'm sorry, yes. I am familiar with audit. I thought you meant a section in reference to auditing. But yes, I am familiar with in reference to whenever they make changes that the system does track it. And it also lets them know, if the employees, as far as the clocks are concerned, if they're using clocks, it shows if they clocked at that clock or if somebody entered it manually. Yes, correct. Every single thing, whether you change 8 hours to 8.1 hour, it will capture those things now. Pay code. In reference to pay codes, are you asking me what type of pay codes do we have? Just the use of pay code. What exactly it is? We'll go about the types. There are 3 types. When we talk about the setup, then rule analysis. Request, you already know people or people editor. You already know that exceptions already. You might know, then license entitlement is there. Totalization. Go over that for me. Totalization, it's like whenever you make any changes. It needs to be going to the DB and it needs to be reflected in every single system or every single service. During the totalization, what totalization do? It will capture all the changes or all the details of your profile. If there is any change, it will capture those and save it into the database. If your profile is not totalizing into the totalization, you will not be getting paid or you will not be considered for the payment. and totalization runs continuously. Some companies create a script that every 1 or 2 hours, 3 hours, the totalization needs to run. Some do this totalization work on 5 minutes, or it should be done on an automatic way. Any change. Let's say you changed from 8 to 8:10. You saved it. You need to store those data. This is a kind of a background process, like it will capture those things and store into DB, and then it will reflect. Totalization means now there is no change. Everything is synced. If we want, we can proceed for the payment also. That's what totalization. During the payroll process, we always check the totalization. How many employees are included in totalization? Let's say, if I will exclude you from the totalization, doesn't matter your profile is signed off or not. Whether it gets signed off, still, you won't get the payment. That's the importance of totalization. Is that where like in the system side, you can go in and where you can see how many. You know what you have licenses for, how many licenses you have available. And then you have the background and there's a tab for background. Sometimes everything is not synchronized. Totalize. Again, some of those records. Under the background process, you might see 21 employees is excluded, and then there is a button to include them. You remember. And it is central. That's what, yep. You can use those things. Sometimes it may happen. What's another importance of totalization in real-time scenario? It may happen that one employee's profile is like a disaster. We don't want to be sent those particular profile for the payroll process. Because let's say there are lots of errors which needs to be fixed. There is some issue with their profile or with their time card. There are also further exceptions. Also in between the payroll, also we get some, I know few of the exceptions which we need to directly come into picture and do. Or let's say you are like new employees are coming into picture. You want them not to be excluded because it's just 3 or 4 days for them. Let's say for us in India, what happened if you joined? Let's say if I joined on 24th June, they won't consider me for the June's payment. They will give me the payment on July, considering 30 days plus those 6 or 7 days. In that scenario, they will exclude me from the totalization. That's the another use of totalization. If you want to exclude some employees, you can do that. If there is a disaster or there is a lots of issue going on with that profile which we cannot figure out, it needs some time. Let's exclude that person from the totalization, and the payroll team will manually give, like with reference to the previous time, how many dollars they have given in the previous week or previous month. They will give the payment, and after the totalization or after the issue is done, they will totalize and they will do the wage adjustment in the next period. With the totalization, when you're totalizing, just say if you realize, let's say I go in the back and I realized it's showing that I have 21 employees that were not included. And to update that, I would click the button. There is an option to update that. And then it would go ahead. I noticed, as you were saying, like when you add new employees, like if you try to add them in the middle of the day period, of course their time won't be. You'll have to kind of, finagle with the system to make it updated. That's true. And there are some scenarios like we have encountered a few of the issues which need some time. I haven't done that, excluding them from totalization. My leads usually has done that, and we need to answer that why you have removed that particular person from totalization. That's why always the lead or senior person do that. I'm not yet much experienced to do that because it's very, very critical. Because if you are excluding that person, if he won't get the payment, that person might do sue you. For the label or the I've never excluded any, but I've already included. That's why we're trying to get to the multiple. My leads has done. And then once the issue is resolved, they exclude them. Again from the background process, the places where you took. Now you might know the employment term and historical corrections. Now I've gained the password and all these things. And now you do the sign in. Let me check whether I have access. I should have. Yes, I have. Now this is how your dimension look like. This is the home page, the landing page, login landing page. Now, yesterday we talked about the tiles from seeing it. You might understand what tiles are. Can you name a few? Tiles. I mean, it makes sense. Now I'm looking at them because it looks totally different from. Totally different. This particular block is known as tiles. Tiles 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 8, 10, 10, 11, 12, 12 tiles are there. Each tiles, as I said yesterday, each tiles is responsible for a single kind of functionality. This is for overtime monitor, manage time card, manage schedule my request, my profile, manage leave of absence over here. As I told you, like we can see what all balance you have. You can just move ahead and you will find out what all balance you have. You will see the request, lots of things. Now how? What all things? I told you about that there are a number of tiles. And in order to access those, we need to click on Tiles Library. This is we call it as Edit option for the tiles. Click on it. And we will get the lots of options for the tiles. There would be 270 tiles. 270. Yes, yesterday I only told you that 270 inbuilt tiles. From it, let's say I want this one. I'll click on it and I'll apply. It will come for me. We got it. Now, if you want to remove you, just uncheck that. Apart from this, tiles under the tiles, you can have charts. A different kind of charts for your own. If you go down the bottom, you will see my chart. You can just click over here. You want to add the tiles. You can key in the details. And you will get a separate or specific tiles with your defined chart. Let's select the data. I'm just randomly selecting for now. Vertical bar limited data. No category employee full name, actual hours, correct save. Oh, where it's gone. It's coming up. This is how you can create a custom. No, this is not a customized. This is just a tiles where you can have the charts. In order to have a note, once you click on it, it will give you a wider view, a detailed view of it. It will tell you all the things using what all details you say. They were. That particular tiles will give you a chat, and over here you can find those detail, what all from where those data came. Clear enough. Or you have any doubt? No, I'm just trying to keep up here the reference. That is pretty cool. You just click in. Basically, you are creating a chart from it. It looks like a query. Creating a chart, it's very again. You want to create a chart over here. Click on your select the options. Good, you have I just click on apply. Now, this is the chart which we are seeing over there. We have the options to see over here. Tally those data. And if you want anything else, you can play around with this data. Once you get the access, play around with those things. Now, let's go back. Let's go on home. Now, this is the home page key. Once you click, you'll go to the home page. Over here, you will see your name. For which name you will assign, or you will come into picture or like whoever login. Now, there are two search options over here. One, once you click the navigation option, you will find a search over here. Another, this is on the hand side. Now, this search is for employee search. And that particular search is to search the option below those things like what all options we have inside this one we can search over here. Let's say we're talking about data view. Here we go. This option is in the data view and reports. If you expand data view and reports, you are getting that option. This particular search will help you to search from these options. Similar options are there for the application setup also. Now, in order to sign out, you can click over here and there are two things to remember over here or to understand. You can see there is no icon over here. And under the applicant administration, there is an icon over here that almost says it will pop up a new tab. Whenever you see these icons at front of anything, that means it will open a new tab. Device, it will open a new tab. If you click on application setup, it will open a new tab for us. But over here, if you click on anything else, let's say data views, I'll click, it will open in the same tab. Got. Now let's again and nothing. Clear with those things in order to understand it. What all those things do. Now this search, we already know how to search and how the things are stored in the Kronos. It's last name, comma, first name. Correct. Whenever your name is there, it will always be the last name, comma, first name. You can, if you search with the first name, it's a probability is there that you won't find that particular person. But if you search with the last name, 100% you will find that employee. And there is another option is to search with their employee ID. And we have an asterisk for a wildcard. If you don't know exactly what things you need to put in, you put an asterisk. That means anything can fill up those places. If you put 9 asterisk, that will every employer which employees start with 9s will come up over here. Now this particular search in the dimension that in central we were having like when you saw it something, let's say you search. Let's say, for example, I'm just randomly at let's leave it. Let's search Harish. If you searched Harish, it will give you the active employees for what time period you select. Correct. If you select, let's say I got terminated on 1st May. If you are searching for a date of, let's say, 5th May, it won't give you my details. If you search for, let's say, 21st April or 27th April, it will give you my details in the search in the result option. Correct. That's how we search in Central. There is another way to search. Usually we use in Central. You can search by username also. But the thing is, if you are searching by a username in the time period, you need to select today. D. That's how you can search with this username. Got the third way to search employee. Now in the dimension over here, if you search, it will give you all the active employees. And in order to see that's it, if you select the advanced hearing is telling you the active employees. If you select all employees, then it will include the active and terminated based on the date frame which you select. The search option will work the same way. Whatever you say in the circle, but I have seen like if the employee is active, it comes under the current pay period, if I remember correctly. But if you basically it's for the time period, let's say from 1st to 7th. If the employee is active on 6th, it will come during that pay period. That's I've seen. I'm not sure how it works for those companies, but I have seen that they comes. It may happen. You can test it out and let me know also like that particular scenario is over, but for now I remember it's working exactly the same whatever is there in center of the search option. They have just changed the UI, but inside functionality is saved for it. And yes, this search is done. Now you might know whenever we face an issue, we go with the help section. Correct. In order to know the help section in Central, we go with Manage My Department, we go to the hand side, we scroll down, then we find Help. That is for the Central over here. We have a direct access. You click on it and I'd suggest search something over here. Let's say you want to search the payroll, type it out. Let's say there would be a space. And this part we would have to go under the navigator. Over there we have Manage My Department, and from Manage My Department on the hand side where we see all those things, schedule, time card, request and all those things. Scroll down, we find the help section. Directly help there. You will click on that. You will go to the next tab will open over here. It comes over here. You can learn the things. Or you click the browser between open in a new tab. I'll say the way the help section explains things in Dimension is way better than the help section in Central. If in time, if you need to explore other things, other modules, try to go ahead, try to take help, try to practice it out. Now is this access that, where this is for the administrator or the super user? Yes, I'll say yes. I will say yes. That's where I would be. I just want to make sure that that's what you were referring. Because it's obvious like the employees or manager usually don't need to know about this. Always tell the help section, always tell you about the configuration part. How that thing is working, how to do the configuration of the papers, his punch hole and anything in the configuration part they tell you correct. That's why it's mostly I have seen it's accessible by us only. Now what about the hyperfines? Do you know how we have the reports we have? We have hyperfines over here. Common setup. We have hyperfines. On the landing page, over where we used to have the search. Over here. That part will come when you go with the data view. In order to find any details, we need to go with the data view. It's not like the central, like directly. You need to select. Over here you will select which type of data or what kind of data you need. Let's say mostly we'll go with payroll or anything. Let me check activity, arts and data, that would be more relevant. And now you can select the hyperfind over here and the time period over here. That's how we go. Or that's how we select or use the data view. That's the way we would use it, but how would it work for a user? Same thing, they will have the data view access. They can go the options and then select the data view library. What all data we see over here. Like you have seen there are lots of data views. We control what all data we access here. You can have. If we give you 10 access, we'll have 10 options over here and you select that thing. Which type of data unit by selecting a type of data view. And then you will select the hyperfind for those employees. That's how we walk over here. Previously in Central, it was very straightforward. You go on the quick find. You click on the drop down of that. Instead of quick find, we select different genies. And then we select the different hyperfinds and the time period. Now what over? Here we go with the data view. Under the data view, now the process is changed. Over there we first process-wise, it's same. First we select the genies. That will tell you what all data you need. Same way we select data view over here. And we create the data view. I've created multiple data views. We create the data views. Now, that's good. Like you asked about the doubts, the hyperfind is done. Now, a last thing for this particular scenario, this particular scene or this particular page is your notification over here. This is known as control center in dimension. The place you will see the notification is known as control center. If you click on that bell button, it will give you the short information about what notifications you have. If you want to see in detail, you will click on view all. Then it will open the whole page of control center for you. And I think the way of getting this notification is way better than Central, because in Central we were having all the list of notification. And from that we need to check and see what kind of notification it is. And then we take the action correct. Now over here, we already have a category listed for us. If you want to ignore the system message, don't take action, leave it. You click on the employee request, you will see the options, and then we already have few things over here. Based on each category, the options will get changed. Employee request might be to happen or something is missing to select all status. Now this is approved, cancel. As the status was not there, that's why it was not coming now. 3 employee request. We have 3 things. Now this is just a glimpse. If you want to in depth of anything, click on that. On the hand side, you will see each and every detail. They accrues things, what all accruals. They are applying the modification date. Every single detail you will see on the hand side. Now selecting that, you can take action whatever you want. Each and every category has their own options. Timekeeping, see employee request. Different option, leave of absence request are different task is different. We have different categories based on the categories. We can have different options available there, and at the center you will find the glimpse of that notifications or that particular link. At the hand side you will see the detail. Got it? Clear with this one? And then good. Let me ask you a question in regards to setting up I know we have the tiles here, and I guess that's how, as far as setting up the tiles. If you say, I would go down at the bottom and click on that and set up a tile, but like with Workforce Central, you have the landing page, and then once you have your landing page, you set up pretty much what you want people to see. We'll say you have the My Manager page. You'll have access where they can see their employees on one side, and then on the other side, where it may have two windows versus one. That's Navigator and Workspace. Correct. That is different. How do we get that set up here? We use tile. You can create the tiles, and we have the display preference. You can see we have data view management and homepage management. That we make the changes and the tiles part. We have custom tiles over here where we create those tiles. And based on that, you will have the access. We'll go through that. I'll take you through that. No worries. Just an overview. I'm telling that we have custom tiles, and over here we have homepage management and then the display profile also. Data view profile also, and other things. What all things you need. What all things you can see under the time called add on options and other things. Everything is configurable over here. You know what you can see. I know we went over. I said on the basic navigation, that's what we went through the tiles. The basic navigation, yes. The very first thing, once you land, you will see the tiles every single year. Whether it's an employer manager, everyone will see the tiles. This page only tiles with their name. Now, what all the tiles you have that we restrict. If you wanted to see 5 times, we'll restrict those things. And say the navigation view, the week navigation view. Where is there? I don't think there is navigation over here. That navigation is not here. See, that's past navigation, and you're talking about navigation profile and navigation and some navigator's profile. And navigation and navigator, that's not over here. I think I'm trying to figure out, and I'm going through our little course content here, and I see where we have the employee task manager task, payroll manager task. Oh, that's a good please. Go ahead. Is that something you kind of give me a quick overview of that? I know what it is, but looking at this, it's like totally different. I need to look. It's totally different. It's the configuration part. It may be pretty similar, but the view is totally like. I'm not going to say I know anything in reference to that, cause I'll need to just look at it once to know how to navigate through it. Because I was like, this is totally different. Yes, the display is totally different. There are no relation between it, but other things you can easily find off, like if you check the paper, it says it's almost same. If you know about the attestation, it's almost same. If you know about accruals, it's almost same. Access profile is also same. Just a few things like the main change. As I told you, like in over there we use Ginny's widgets, navigators workplace. But over here we use styles and everything is taken care over here. That's totally different. Displays to other things. I think if I'll give you the overview, you will easily understand those things. If I'll tell you like what overtime means, what payrolls means for those things. But for the display preference, it's a bit difficult. This is for practice. We also, whenever we want to learn new things, we do the practice over here. Just to give you the we just small thing. Over here you can see the time card settings. Under here there would be different profiles that has been created for different purpose or for the practice purpose also. It might happen that one employee will having the other the like. Let's say this one is someone will have this option. And if you create a new one, you will find it out. Over here, see the 4 includes schedule in, code, transfer. 4 punch or punch. Do you want to include the total shift, total period, total midnight punches and all these things? What all details you want to see, we select those box. And at the bottom, it's not exactly the bottom. It's the middle one. We have a column order. What all selection you will do. Based on that, most of the things will come up over here and you just whatever things you want first or whatever things you want next, you can arrange your column order over here. And you might see at the bottom of the time card, we usually see accrual total, historical correction, activity summary and audits and all those things. You might know, those are known as add-ons. The add-ons we select from here. If you uncheck this one, that means the audit will not come up to the person who will have this time. Card setting. We select based on the number of options. I'll say for the display preference, we'll cover a few of the topics or you can take the help section, the help of help section. Most of the things are very simple like straightforward option. Like include show shift detail, well or not, include shift details or not. It's pretty much straightforward. Ons. Talking about the add-ons, we have an option to create the add-ons. That add-ons which just below our time card setting. Just below the time card add-ons profile. Employee glance. Glance setting means if you hover over the employee, what all details you will see, what all things you will see under schedule plan as staffing. I'm not sure. People information. That is what all things you will see under the people information whenever you go to someone's people profile. What all options. You will see people information, settings of what all things are. You will never explore these people information setting yet, but go on. These are very straightforward. But you just need to know what exactly that things do. And the very easiest way. What I prefer is open something, whichever you want. Open that thing and try to make the changes, assign that thing, and you can go ahead. They are very straightforward. You might already know about this one custom field, telephone field, and all display profile. Also, if you have created configure, you might know about this 6. But we'll go through it. The display profile date, a view profile time card, setting time card, add-on profiles and other options. We will go through it. It's not like there is an issue with it might happen someone has selected with different time card setting. Is that time card setting? Is that in the people's profile? Was that being displayed profile, if I remember correctly? it will go with the display profile and then display profile to the people now. If I'll go, I usually play around with the very first option. In your thing, I usually go with this one and again randomly. You can select any option. It's not the case. Just you need to deep down. What exactly the profile has been attached to that input. And then you can tally those things. Then only you will understand whether it's there or not. The schedule. Absence, pay code amount, daily pay shift in, out and transfer. If I search anyone randomly, that person will have a different column, several levels. This is different environment. The one which I've given you is different. Let's show, hold on. I need to check where that credential is. This is how you would be seeing. And where you went. I went up with the top up here and clicked on Employee Summary. This would be different. Yes, definitely. There's all options you were seeing. I selected. Also, I can kind of stroll through the employees and look at their time cards. You select it all. There were lots of employees. Randomly selecting few. Oh, this will take. Middle this person. Let me see time card. Look. Oh, daily turtle. I mean, this is navigating us to different place. Where is the list view? This is how the table view. This kind of view is different than the actual time card. This is for the manager perspective. This is for manager how they use. But the normal time card, you will see the way which I've told you previously. That's how the employee sees those things. This is just a kind of a report work. Manager will have the. It's obvious like manager will have the employee summary details. I didn't as they were concerned. All those things, the normal time card if you want to see for an employee where it is good. No, we need to go where. Either you go to people and then go to that place or you can search that employee. This is all like a thing. Now that's strange. Give me 1 second. Did they change the UI? No, it's correct. Correct. This is different. That is different place. Now we need to find out why that comes with the employee summary. Correct. Let me check once again. Do we have any option for somebody? Sorry. Oh, he answered. Now I need to check it out. That's projected day. It's week 2. All that's what you are getting. This that is for project employees, the other employees, correct. You changed it too. From our little project info, that's what we were seeing. Let's check another one. Previously it was. That's the view. That is for early employees. For early employees, you're having other option, and projected employees, we were having this one. Adams David is having the projected employees profile, whereas randomly selecting again. This is again a projected employee. Which one I would have selected before? This employee is having early one. The salary and early. We have two different categories. Based on that, they have their own UI. That's what this particular thing is. They can care by our time, cut settings, which is under display preference. Got. Any other doubt with this time cut? And you already know the accruals, total historical audit, interrogators and all these things. Or any concerns with the standpoint, anything. Oh, this is one. But this is one because I guess I would need to check the time card view, but I want to view the seat of totals over here. Over here, totals at the bottom you will see. As there is nothing, we can put they were scheduled to work these hours on the top part until the purple and showing what they were scheduled. But they just scheduled. And these are like projected one by the system. It's coming up. That's why the system is not calculating most of the things. Once we enter the timings, the system is calculating all these things. Pop it all the pay codes and all things. Similar way, there would be accruals. Destroy your correction or the audit order to tell you who has done the changes on all those things. You can explore the ways to add those things. The way we add in central, the punches transfer and all these things are pretty much same. The click. And then you can add comments mark as review. If you want to edit, you can edit and all those things. Now what are the rule analysis? These analysis. Previously we were having those. The rule analysis you can achieve or you can go through it from here. Run analysis under the analysis option. Is that the option like if you wanted to step through a work role to kind of see what it's doing? Correct. Correct. What all things are coming under picture. What rule, what these cities and all those things. The way that we have rule analysis now. It's the way from here we can go in. And the go to. Have people at an estate, leave and reports and all those things. Sign off removal or a remove approval. Add approval are pretty much same. Accrue elections. We already know if you want to move the accruals from one place to another place. Or if you want to anything like one place to another means one bucket to another bucket. Or you want to reset. Basically, this is done by HR as a developer. We don't do those because it will again put our names over here. That will be in case of audit for us. Why you did? Now this is time period. Over here we have a drop down. We can search the employees, what all employees access. You have that you can do. And if you want to maximize, you can maximize and see in a larger view. Other than that, calculate to totals. You already might know that if you put something and if it's not working or you made any changes, if that is not capturing by totals, then if you, let's say, usually when you put something, if you don't save, the system will not capture those things and will not update the totals and all the things. But if you want to check, like before saving, whether it's working properly or not, whether it's giving the correct data or not, then we put the details, we click on calculate total. The totals will be calculated if it's working as per expectation. We save it, otherwise we refresh or we remove that change. Explore the things with the time card, the few importance which is important. I share like rule analysis, how we do the comments, transfer the calculate totals. It's the beginning. View pending. I'm not sure about that. That you're pending. I'm not sure. Never saw that enabled yet. Might be. I'm not seriously have never seen. Let me check. No. Still it's not visible. Like enabled. I've never seen this enabled. That's what I have. No idea. We can check for the help. And other than that, everything is covered. This is refresh this one. And then these all pretty much same. Same means easy to understand. Other than nothing, I don't see anything on the employee town card. Now let's look the people. Leave it. The people information is a bit different. Bit not much. First you will see the summary. Some reel of all those things. Like we get the summary. Now it's directly at the top, and then we have the similar options like information, and we will see the username and all those things. I deposit and those things when this is the place where we activate or inactivate it or terminate. The employees, then we have contact additional information. That is the custom data fields. And then other things like access profile and all those things almost same. Now nothing much. They have categorized more professionally. I also most simplified that thing. Like previously, we had to move into 2 tabs and switch it between them. Those things now, it's very simple, easy to expand. And over here you can see the licenses. You did license. Here we have timekeeping attendance, what all things, and we have manager or employer role, kind of license over here. That is entitlement. Now, if you want to duplicate, you can duplicate that employee too. Duplicate new, or if you want to see the history of the employees. Any of the things been changed. We go over here, we search the history option and we'll find it out. Any doubt with this people information? Whenever you wanted to do things. I'll say just go give both the managers and employees, since that all the option will come into picture. Go up. The schedule part, as I assuming that you already know most of the things. As I know that you're already working central everything. I almost say, we're going on the schedule. Go ahead and go. I'm going on the schedule. under the schedule. It's the way of displaying previously. We were having same like this in Central, but on the hand side, more on strictly on the hand side. And there we put on those things similar way over here also. We have same kind of thing if you want. Click on it. Type. I will get the time. Well, it's not coming up. Let me put like this. Oh, it already kept sorry. Sorry, it took time. To delete this one. 8 to 5. Either you type it or even you click the click. You will get lots of options. If you want to add the shift template, you want to add pay code onto a type, if you want to add any copper shift, and those are multiple options. If you click on more option, it restore that, it will refresh those things. And it will go back to where it was saved previously. That's the refresh over here. Or if you want to do it for a particular cell, you can go ahead and restore. Refresh will do the refresh for all these things, whatever you have created. But the restore will do for a selected cell or selected block. Or if you double click, by mistake I have like this one. Now it's coming. If you click over here, double click after selecting that, it will give you a pop-up where you can do all these things by dragging place. And if you want, this is for regular. If you want it to be anything else like gray equal to transfer, you select from this drop down or all. If you want to add a segment, click on add. Now you have a regular and then the another segment. You can put the time. And let's say any time you would be good. This is regular, then break. Or there is also an option to assign break over here. Like that you can add shave that segment. If you want to add comment, you can add that there's a very like a normal work, which is done by manager. Nothing much. A fine break. If you select that box, if you select that to assign the break, does it give you? Oh, make sure. Where does it give you the option to determine where the break should occur? I know. Give me one saying this is 4 to 4:15. Oh, that did come. This is a regular. This is a regular. One, not a break yet. And you click this option. Was there before? Let me check this one. First select. And all leave. I'll do click. We have a sign break. Oh, let me check why that. It's taking time or it's not working. Might be. Might be. The length is not that long for this particular one. Regular 8 to 5 for long. It's not working that way. Let me do another try. I'm just thinking whether due to that duration is not enough to do the break counter. There's some condition like the units to work at least this many as better way to do this one. 8:30, 5:30. And then I'll do a sign break. That segment. I'm just checking all. I've never tried this one because this is mostly done by managers. And I will do a apply over here. Now let me check. What I want to check. I want to see the time card of this member. Go to the time card. Can select out. Let me save. Now it's saved. I'll go to head. Time card. I'm just trying this, all things. I was most of the time. I let candidate to practice it out and understand those things. Oh, this is Adam David. We added for Sunday. $8. 8:32. 5:30 is 9 hours. 8. That's fine. We have a break of 1 hour. But explore that option of assign break. I'm not sure. We bother. We usually assign the break section. But it's something because these are just for the user perspective. And I need to find it out. I just find it out. It makes sense to me because we've given it a break and we're not really. There's no actual time work for them to take the break and maybe they're in the profile. Like you said, maybe they have to work 4 hours or 5 hours. That I wasn't into the shift. Maybe even I'm thinking this, saying like maybe due to that. But I need one person who will be. I'm being the time card like that way. I need to check time card. The time on this one would be the early. I hope. Yes, the early one. Now let me give it a try. Let's find like a sign break. And I'll click apply. Still nothing. It has 5 minutes. 0.5. See, it's not applying. I said, do you need to set it? Like you said in the break, though we need instead, because it starts at 3. $30 will help us to calculate. Then I'll click assign, break apply. But it would be PM. Wouldn't it? You have to be in that. I stayed forward 15 hours. 30. Rate 3. There is nothing. Nothing deducted. Let's save it. I'll play with it and let's see the time card. That is on which day we did this one. Aha! The total will not speak up anything. Now let's do any time I create. And the outcome is like 11. 30 is 20. 30. Now you can see it's given 1 hour of break. But I'm still thinking whether this one is from the break, the actual break, which comes from payroll or cool kind of things, or it's applied by its doing by the things which we did. But let's check or Sunday also. And for Sunday. Oh, just now you want to do like this. Let's see. I'm going. This is pawn. It's not getting selected, and when I'm double clicking, it's coming up. Sunday. Normally, I'll put the same time. 8 to 11:30. And this time you won't click on a sign break. Now let's go to the time card and see what adds. The difference is now whether it's coming with that option or it's coming directly from the payroll, we will be getting it. Now with the daily one, this is for the shift payment, additional payment for shift. That's not the same thing to bother about it. That's a tutti third. And I'll see. This is coming from the payroll. What's going to happen? It's not coming from that. I'm a blue ship. The tutor. The 2012 heavy amount. This is for a 20:30 p.m. Production. You know 6 streamers of deduction. That's coming from that part, not from the schedule. This is the rule. I'll check that one. Why that schedule part? What that I signed things means. Mayos, we never do those things. Frankly, we never do a VV. We don't do those things. It's for a practice we do, but a sign break, I'll check it out. 1 year. Do you have a where you set up the patterns? Is that different? Well, schedule. You talking about this schedule. For the pattern setup, you go over here. We create the creation of pattern. The template, shift template you are talking about. This one. You can do that there, but you should also in the screen. Like if the managers want to set up a template. And for them to work, just say 1 week or 2 weeks or whatever. And this one. Cut. Where is that? We go with can scan over there. Current schedules. Here you want to check. Over here. View by employer. View by schedule. Because one employee selected, you usually use select the height of fine. That's all I'm saying. And these are the one group templates. For shift templates, over here, you right click. And then you create a schedule pattern. This is a place where the managers can be did this scheduling. Exactly which? whether it would be the click. And then you have the option for schedule. Add shift, add but or anything. Mostly the things you will find it on a click. And then you can click. The manager will click on schedule pattern and then create whether they want. If they want to add any pattern, existing pattern, you can do, or if he wants to add a shift template, you can do, or if you randomly, he wants to type it out. Those things you can do. Come here. Any other things on the schedule? That will be. I'm getting there. And you might have there a few tools. That comes with the add-on scheduling for the. I don't want to select this into. To schedule, there are few. In this generate schedule, that will help you to generate the schedule based on few of the strategy. That is this advanced part. For the advanced scheduling, because it knew it's some priority, precedence and all those things. Based on whatever strategy you select, based on that, it will generate the schedule. Usually. For the environment, which I was using before logging into this, under the schedule, we were having a can same. I'm not sure whether it's defined for that thing. Over there it's same, like this. Either you can generate this gift or you can go ahead with this one. I don't think they have implemented that. Is that part of the event schedule? Is that what you? But over there you will get the options too. Generates, it would be in tools. Now there is multi-detenly. There are few other things along there. That's first one to generate the open shifts. Usually I cover those things. First one with the open shift. Then there would be the engine which will normally create your shifts. And there would be the third one that will create the shift using your skills, certification, your proficiency, your level of experience and all those things. Let me go ahead, flow it from here and might be again every hour. Move on. This engine you can see input. I definitely. How your client has done the configuration. Let's see. See, the options are different. This schedule. This is. I think that's different kind of access. I have with the advanced scheduling on all those things. But over there that is normally for. If time keep things, Y to be. That's the case. And it's not. I'll give you the names for those. And then again the same things over here. And under this schedule group you either view by employer or view by schedule. If you want to add directly to a schedule, group click will help you out. I can buy the car access. Where it is. I'm going to apply. Lots of restrictions. For you won't be having this. This is for change in your environment. Environment has some restriction on will. Select the first one. Should have that. Not that line. The easiest way, I would say, let me search and then apply. The question is, something is done. It's loaded. You have a head out with the people. People think the information. Time. Can you do any specific doubt apart from these two? Like it's not working for obviously. Let me see. Will take time. Practice it off. Go ahead and do. They are not. Even there wouldn't be scenario which you have in your mind. But I will not have that. And this is even just the same options, which I am just forward, which I will find I used to select. To the high. The high. Setup. Exact. But it's different. That's you know how to create this. You know how to create this. Parent schedule period. Time this one. In that created on the template. If you select a schedule period, how many days you will see that is being set up in the schedule. Let me see. I need to check why it's the click is not working. For the employees working for schedule, work is not working, the studio only. I'll check this one why it's not working. This one. Working on this, which at least might be due to some issue. Test state. Why should work? I'll take that one for now. Just if you click on the schedule group and will give you the option to add pickled, I had shift or add script. You can pattern if you add anything. It will be in it. The same way it would be in it. It will be in it. It will be in it. Select any cell. If you want to add anything you add, I'll imply will in it in those things. It's not working for those two partial. And it's obvious if you want, if you create a new schedule group and you know how to give the access for schedule group. That is you. I'm going to add this profile. Data access to FundUp. Schedule group. It might happen the profile which is assigned to us, it is not having that schedule group. That's why we are not able to edit those things. Because you were like newly created one. Whenever you create any schedule group, Whatever schedule group you have, just assign that. Or maybe mostly it will be the super user. Add those schedule group and the super user one. Any other concerns you've had? I'll probably just have to get in here and kind of navigate through it, and then I'll have questions. Well, that's good. We missed even 1 second. Very slow. I'm sorry about it. Why it's very slow today? If you leave, doesn't take that much time. What should I is? Thursday. When Wednesday? That's when I stay for me. Wednesday? Maybe people are processing payroll or not. This is a test. This is a testing one. Especially for us to practice. Oh, there is nothing attached to it. It should work very smoothly. Oh, I can't, but it's still not working. Very slow. Some other issues. The report pack. You will see the results of the test, all the reports. And if you want to run a report, you click over here, Run Report. You'll get the list from the list. You select whatever report you want to run. And if there is any options or any information needed, it will ask you. And this option depends on different reports. We'll have different kind of options for the requirement. And for the scheduling of job, you go through the voting jobs and then you will schedule. And then you will select the report and put on the time. So, select the reports. You'll get in the details and then you will put the time when you want that reports to run on a regular basis. You can create the reports in for reports they want to get every week, or if they want a report that is under the reporting jobs. Normal running of reports. It's straightforward. Otherwise, if you want to schedule, you go ahead over here and you have my reports. You know, to understand what all reports you have, you need to come back to this page for the results and all those things. You can come forward. Any doubt with these 4 tabs? Time cards, schedule reports and those things. This practice, you talked. If you have any doubt, let me know. We'll find it out because most of the things is done. Another people report this. Remember where those things are? You already remember still. Still remember those things. Got it? Now there are 2 things talking about the schedule. The basic scheduling will give you the list of shifts and you can create different patterns or different sequence of those using a shift. Using that pattern or sequence of shift, manager can assign the employees those shifts or those schedules. This is known as the simple part. The simplest part of assigning this schedule. But if we talk about the advanced scheduling, as I told you, advanced scheduling will take care of your proficiency level, your skills and certificate. Then it will take you. Different kind of rules are there which we create. The rule set, procedure set, what it does. Normally, if using a basic scheduling manager can directly assign the shifts. There are multiple ways to assign as we already talked in yesterday when we're talking about the schedule. I told you that in short, shift option, pattern template option, multiple options were there, and there were multiple ways we do assign those shifts. But if manager assigns a shift which is not defined into our system, that's into the system, then that kind of shift is known as ad hoc shift. That is, randomly if a requirement comes. Suddenly a requirement came up for different timings and manager put in the schedule based on normal timing. Let's say 7:50 into 12:50 kind of thing, which is not there. Any shift which we manager can select is the one which manager has entered randomly in order to support that duration of time. That type of shift is known as ad hoc shift. Now under the advanced scheduling, it's kind of a more easy for a manager. Now what happened? Usually let's say there is a location where we need 3 in the afternoon, 3 in morning and 2 at night. This is a flow for a week, we can say, and suddenly one employee is ill, got ill, or let's say manager forgot to assign the shift to that any random person. In that scenario, what advanced scheduling do? Under the advanced scheduling, we have an option to run open shift engine. We are just talking about 3 to like 8 shifts for a simple location. But assume the managers work, they will have a number of employees and number of different location access or different jobs access, different department access. It would be difficult for them to track out those missing shifts or missing schedule and they miss some time, they miss to assign the employees. In that case, they run the open shift engine. That will tell us that these are the places where we have some place empty and we need to assign the employees. That is done using the advanced scheduling. This is the first thing. Let me find out something. I'm just checking. I don't know. Now, another thing is now the system has given you the open shift. Now how you will assign the employees to them? That's again a task for them. Again, finding the different things, finding those options and then assigning it to them is again a difficult task for them. There should be something scheduled planner. Scheduled planner help us to do. I'm not sure. Workload planner. The next part is to assign the employees. Over there we have 2 more engines. Total with the advanced scheduling. That is not a schedule planner, that's not me, might be. There is no access over here. That the second engine will help you to assign the employees. The second engine is responsible for just picking out the employees and assigning to that location. That's the word. It doesn't go or doesn't check your skills. Your certification doesn't matter. In the morning, if you need DBA, it might happen. It will assign a Kronos developer over there. That is just to fill the space. That's the work of the second engine. What would you help of third engine, that is priority or president, something. I just missed those names. That particular engine will take care of your skills, certificate, year of experience, proficiency level, and based on that it will assign the employee to the job. Let's say if our Kronos developer job is pending, what it will do? It will check out who all has a Kronos developer access. Now, once you have the list of the employees now, it will find out who has the certification for that. And then it will find out who has the most number of experience. They have the main different experience level. And based on that, it will assign the employee. Let's say you are a Kronos developer. I will be the Kronos developer and you have 3 SF experience and I have 2 SF experience. Now the third engine. That engine takes care of your kind of set, giving you the access based giving, assigning you the shift or giving you the shift based on that. You will get the precedence, but the second one it can randomly. Either it will assign you or other it will assign me. There is no fix on that one. That's the 3 types of engine which is there in advanced scheduling. Advanced scheduling. Basically, if you have an open shift with it, with the schedule planner, it goes in and identifies those people that are available. You will have the list of all the employees for your product. Then you will have 3 engines at the top. And using those engines, you can create the open shift, assign the employees based normally, and assign the employees based on the priority of their skills, certifications, and all those things. Now the third one. Well needs units to create those things. Workload planner, different things are there. You can go through the document and the rules which I told you, the rules which they follow. This is the sort and matching rules over here. We create those rules. These are the place where we create the rules like which one will take precedence. Whether you want to sort it by employee number, employee name, or how you want to sort it out. And there are a number of things which goes along with that. Like even you need to tell the system, there will be 3% required. That things need. We need to define like 3% is required, 1 is missing. Then only the system will generate the open shift. These all comes together and tell you those things, how it will proceed. Now the 4 basic things which comes with. The basic scheduling is the very first thing we know. We need to create a shift. In order to create a shift, it's known as shift template. Shift template help us to create the shifts. Whatever shift you want to have in a system, you can create 12 to 5, 8 to 5, 10 to 6, what a 4-hour shift, 5-hour shift, whatever shift you want. That should be accessible by the managers and they can assign. We create that shift over here. If, as I said, if anything apart from these, shift template manager assigning, that will become the ad hoc shift. Now how we create the shift? There are 3 types over here. Either you create a regular shift or a transfer or a break. Now the break transfer, you already know what it does. Break we already know. Regular also we know. But one thing which we need to remember over here is there are a few things which you can attach along with those options. If you want any skills and certification, that's again advanced. But if you for this particular shift, if you're assigning the shift to someone, that person needs to have that shift. Sorry, that skills and certificates. Let's say this shift is specifically for the person who is a Kronos developer. Then we will mention over here like you need to have the Kronos developer certification. That pre-checks will do. Now another thing which is very important is we know we can create the normal 8 to 5 job. That would be 17. 8 to 5, 9 hours of job. Correct. Now what about the night shift? The night shift usually will be from 10 to 2, we can assume. Let me refresh it that you understand now. The night shift will start from 9, that is 9:21. And it should end at 5 or 7 in the morning. We are getting the error. The reason behind getting the error is the main function of day, this day and this day. This one is respective to the start time and this one is end time. Now always you will see the day with the start time should be 1 because we consider the starting of the shift is always day 1 from where the system is to check on that this shift has started on this day, the very first day. What about the night shift? Night shift is going to end on the next day. Day 2. Day. That's we will put day 2. And then if you put 7, it will take the time. Whatever you want to put 5, put it 5. Then it will say, this is how we create the night shift. Now, once you create these things, you will add the names and save it. Now let's assume we have 10 employees, or better would be the 10 employees with a single shift at a time for a week, let's say Monday to Friday. Manager will require to select each and every day for each and every employee that will make 50 clicks or 50 times. Manager needs to perform the action in order to assign the shift or schedule to all the employees, 10 employees. Correct. Let's say for 10 employees for a week, it would be 50 times. This is again like kind of a tedious task. It's a very tedious task. It's a small number, it's 10. But if it's 100 or 50 employees, it will become very hectic for a manager. What Kronos has done? Kronos tries to make it simple for them. They have introduced the pattern template. Pattern template over here. What pattern template do? Pattern template is a sequence or series of shifts along with the pay codes and other things which you want to add. Now if I click new and let's say Monday, on Monday I want to add something, I'll click. You can add a shift. You can add a pay code. Availability is again advanced. What availability do you tell your system or to the manager that I will be available for 3 days? And the timing would be to 5, 8 to 5, 8 to 5. Let's say another day you will be unavailable or you will be off. Or the third day you can say probably you will be available. These kind of things we define on the availability. Now we have two options over here, add shift and add pay code. You can add whatever you want to add. Let's say shift premium. I'll say for 8 hours from AM. Apply. Now we have this one and now I want to add a shift over here. And on Tuesday you will work from 8 to 5. Now this should be 5. Or 8. Both day same. Now apply. Now again, there is another way. If you have already things there, you click on copy. Or if you want to paste, you can do that. Or select the cell insert shift template. That will give you a list of all the shift templates we have. And from there, From there, you can select whatever you want. Let's say randomly, I'm selecting. You want EA evening shift. You will click, I got evening. Now again you click over here. Along with that, what you can do comments also. If you want to add a comment or anything, adjust amount. I want this to have a comment with an adjust amount. These are the things which we can do. Now, it's not that we can only define the pattern for a week. We can define for n number of weeks or n number of days. If you want it for a 5-day, 5 weeks, you select that you will get 5 options, and likewise you can create a pattern. 5 weeks is almost a month. You can create a month with. Now, I'm just randomly selected. If you save it, whenever you assign this ABCD pattern template to someone, that person will automatically have this schedule into its profile. Now, can I ask a question here? The Monday. You got the shift premium. They will only get the shift premium for that day, Monday. You will see the pay code over there. That pay code, premium pay code, that's it. Pay code with 8 hours. The way we get the holidays, let's say New Year and 8 hours. That way the person will get shift premium 8 hours. That's it. Nothing else. Monday. But they won't get it on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, just Monday. On Tuesday, on the very first Monday, if it's for a multiple week, the very first Monday, if it's a 1 week at a time, then every Monday the person will get the shift premium and Tuesday. It's not to be there. It's a random assume. It's a random pay code. A holiday or something. Some people, let's say, to do some reason on Monday, they are getting a shift premium. A pay code which will automatically give now on every Tuesday. The implant is to work 8 to 5. And every Wednesday it will be working the evening shift 3 p.m. to 11:30 p.m. Same thing for Thursday, also every Wednesday and Thursday. Now on Friday, if you want to add morning shift, we can add that. Let's say 5 to m. Now let's say we have you shave it for you and to share a pattern template, PT. Now what's they say on that Friday? They say that that's a hard shift to fill. On Friday, that's their shift to work. But I also wanted to give them the shift premium for that from coming in. Click Add Pay Code. How to shift premium? It's starting with 5 am. 8 hours or 5 hours, let's say. It can be a combination of things. Whatever you want, you can give it. Whatever you give, the same thing will replicate into their schedule and they need to follow that thing. Got it? Leave the pattern template. Now one more thing. Not only pattern template, it would be on scale. Now with the pattern template, now the 50 clicks has become 5, 10 clicks only, each for each employee. He will directly assign a pattern template. The whole week timing will come up. Now we don't have to sort that out like they make it 10 times click now. They wanted to make it a one-time click. What they have introduced? They have introduced the schedule group. Now what schedule group do? We already know the schedule group. What it does? It's a group of employees who will follow the same schedule and manage it. Once we create the schedule group, we need to give them the access. Now in this setup, As I remember, in the last session, we went through the schedule and we have assigned the employees to a particular schedule group. Test 8 p.m. to 5 p.m., something like that. That particular schedule group, the assigning of employee is not done in the setup part. Assigning of employee is done by the managers under the schedule over the schedule page. Here in the setup part, we only create a schedule group that will hold the name and there is a one checkbox. That's it, nothing else. Here is a schedule group. We create the schedule group name. Schedule group and we allow schedule. Allow schedule means whatever you assign to schedule group, every single employee under that will inherit those schedule. Now we will save it. That's it for the schedule group. Now we give the access of the schedule group. Now manager will assign the employees to the schedule group and whatever schedule or pattern template, shift or anything he wants to assign to the particular schedule he will get. Like all the employees under that will inherit those shift or schedule. Got it? These are the groups that the managers say, I want to create schedules for this group of people, for these different groups. They give that to you initially. The admin goes in and set all of these up. And then once they've set them up, then the manager of course goes into the schedule and then she can basically assign the people to these particular groups. The shift, the pattern or whatever they want to create. There is a request to us via ServiceNow. Most of the company use ServiceNow. There is a request over there with the mention, I want the shift with this timing. I want the shift for this timing. And if they have, usually the companies follow the nomenclature with the country name. If it's a country wise or state name for the state wise, or if it's a location wise, they will mention. The nomenclature would be, let's say over here is $E, $P, $U, $Canada. Similar way, this is for Canada, I think. Similar way, they follow the nomenclature. We follow the nomenclature, how they name them. And based on that, we will create let's say we have 2 countries or 3 countries, India, Australia and US. We will have a different category for that. Over here, you will see all of them. But now again, we will create an hour of scheduled goods for different managers at different countries. Now it's time to give them the access. The access part is taken care of with the access profile. We will talk about it. Now, one more thing which I wanted to explain you over here is the thing which it came. Finally, let me search and employ. It's very slow. You might remember that during the schedule. Explain the schedule under the time and date period. Time period. I have asked you do you know how we tell the system? Whenever we select current scheduled period, previous scheduled period or next scheduled period or next to next scheduled period, how the system will know for the current scheduled period. I have to show or display them 7-day or 15-day or a month or 2 months. What do we define under scheduled period over here? This is where we create the schedule. Now you will tell the system whether it's a 7-day, 1 week of scheduled period or 2 weeks of scheduled period. Based on this, it's a BCDSP. And we mentioned the reference day. Let's say we wanted to start it on Monday. We will mention the Monday date. From Monday, every 2 weeks will be a schedule. From this to 16, 3 to 16 will be the dates which will come in first schedule. If we select the next schedule, it will be from 17 to 30. 2 weeks at a time will be shown over here. Let's say over here, if I select current schedule period, what are you doing? It's giving you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days, and it's starting mostly on Saturday. We can say Sunday to Friday, or maybe this is for the Saturday till 7 days coming up. But if I select this one over here, we will be seeing 15 days at a time. The scheduled period assigned to the employee is weekly one. Similarly, we will create different scheduled periods. Let's say for the hourly employee, usually you will see 1 week at a time. For the salary employee, you will see a monthly scheduled period because they usually get the payment based on monthly basis. That kind of thing. That is the fourth thing which you need to remember over here. Now, once you create all those things, it's time to give the access. That is all for the basic schedule. Now, it's time to give the access. In order to give access, we need access profile. Now, we talked about the shift template, pattern template, and schedule group. Whatever things you will create, you need to give the access of those things over here under the data access profile. In short, it's known as DAP. We call it as DAP. Now, DAP is responsible for giving you the access of what all things you have created. Now, we have created the pattern template. Let's say it's for US. We will check. Let's say this is for US. Let's assume this is for US managers. I'll come up over here. I will find out where is our A, B, C. We created with A, B, CPTS and I'll move it to the hand side. Save and return. Let's say save. The US managers will have the pattern template access of these all things. Got it how we give the access after creating the pattern template, shift template or anything. Whatever you have created, we go with the respective profile. We move it from the left hand side to the hand side. Same case will be for all these things. If you create a new pay code, you need to give the access to a respective region. If you get a new work, same thing. New report, same thing. New for these all 6 things. Now, just to give you the knowledge, there will be 7 options over here and the 7th option is known as availability template access. Again, that's for the advanced scheduling. Just to give you the knowledge, there would be 7, 1 availability template. Whatever availability template we create, we give the access to them. Data access profile has 7 items. Those are our availability template, schedule, group shift template, pattern template reports, work rule, pay codes. Got. But this is to restrict the access of these 7 respective things. What about the other things? What about the accruals which we have created, the grants which we have created, the dates which we have created? Or what about the things, the payroll, the holidays, the fixed rule, what all things you have other than those 7 you have created? Who will give the access? Because it's obvious and a system will have n number of things, but all the n number of things will not be accessible to, let's say, Australia or let's say US. It should be accessible to the respective managers only. For that, we have generic data access profile. Apart from those 7, if you want to restrict any access for the setup part, we go with generic data access profile, and in short it is known as GDAP. Now if you click on GDAP, you will get a drop down. And under the drop down you will see the categories. Whether you want to restrict with the access profile accruals, employment term integration organization setup. This is business structure, pay policies, and all those things you can restrict. Now, let's say under the accruals, I have given you the access of certain dates. Whatever you move on the hand side, you will have the access, and along with that, I will give you the access of few limits and few provision period access. Now I will be changing this main category to pay policies. And under that the break, I will give you the access for these many break rules. And then holiday profile. I will give you the access of these holidays profile. Now tell me what all things I have selected previously. They will be there. Oh, they would have gone. They should still be there. Yes, once you save it. It doesn't matter you save or not. Everything, whatever you have moved to the hand side, will always be to the hand side. If you save, then the profile will get updated and they will get the access. Now, if I change back to again accruals, the things which I have moved to the hand side will always be on the hand side. See, they haven't gone. They are still there. If you save it now, whatever A, B, C profile, someone will have A, B, C, D, G, D, P. They will have the access of all those things. Now, if you have created a new work rule, what will do? You will go to pay policy. You will select the payroll. You will move respective payload to the hand side. Now, yes, the person who is having ABC profile, access profile GDAP, that person will have the access of this payroll. Good? Got. Now this is all about the access, whatever we have created on the setup part. But what about the access of functionality, the features which Kronos provides? Even if you say you wanted to approve someone's time card, again, it's a feature. If manager wants to update their time card, put in the in and out punches again. It's a feature which is provided by UKG. If you want to see the accruals, you want to see the attestation building block, again, this all things comes as a feature for the Kronos. In order to control the features, we have function access profile. And that is known as FEP. If someone will say you update their FEP, you need to understand it's a function, access profile. Someone will say you it's update the GDAP. You need to know GDAP is generic data access profile. If someone will say DAP, you will come up over here. In day-to-day life, we don't pronounce fully. We say FEP, GDAP or DAP. Now under the function access profile, there are lots of options. Even I don't remember or no one will. I hope no one will remember all those options. There are 7 main categories. See, it's 7. Yes, there are 7 main categories. And under that category, let's say I will expand this one. You have lots of options. These are lots of options. If you again expand that thing, you'll have again lots of options. Let's say this is a particular function group, edit. Group edit result is like, if you edit multiple employees, one or more than employees at a time, then that comes as a group edit result. If I want to give that particular person the access to be able to access this group edit result, I will allow it. If you don't want to give the access, you wear it gone over here. You will disallow it. Got it? Now, this is how we give the function. If you want to give the approval access, and we have a search bar over here. That's why we usually go with the search and we find the relevant thing and we give them allowed or disallowed. Now, what does this option means? Various means under this option. Where is various over here? Manager department. That means the building blocks which are there inside this manager department. Manager department. Some of them has allowed, some of them has disallowed selected. That's why we see various over here. Now for example, for the employee and everyone we see disallowed. If I expand and I will say home page personalization to be allowed to someone, they can edit or make changes in their home page, how they want to look. I will click on allow. Once you click allow, you might see the employee has various now. That means few of them are allowed, few of them are not allowed. If you again change it to disallowed, it will again go back to disallowed. If all of them has allowed, the main heading will have allowed. This is based on the profile, whatever access functional access profiles assigned to that. And I should want to know something, some kind of things. Let's say home page personalization. You have a special helpful thing over here, a definition. You click on that question mark, it will give you control, the user ability to make home page personalization. That way you can understand if you want a description or something. Click on that question mark and understand. That's how we find out. If something is not very clear, mostly everything you would straightforward into day-to-day life, you will understand. But still, if you have any doubt, you can go ahead and search that over here. And if you find something, click on question mark and find it out whether this is the correct one or not. Now this is how we give the access of functionality. It may happen whenever, like when I started my journey, like I was fresher, I was having a function access profile which has very limited access to the setup part because I was not very much aware of the corners and I cannot totally understand those things for now. And if by mistake I will do a production live application, if I'll do anything, it will become a mess up for my whole team. That's why they start giving you the function access profile which has less access. And once you are expert, they will give you the full access one. And anything with this one, because I don't remember all the options. I know there are 7 options, the main 7 options over there. Over here, you will see employee manager. Manager with sign off, super access or super user. These are the 4 basic things. It will be there. But if there is a single change in your access, we need to create a new profile for that. Might be, there would be the manager nursing and there would be manager nursing all access. There can be. There would be the manager. There would be manager with sign-offs or manager without sign-offs. That kind of functionality we create. Got. Now, the last thing is the way how you log in. How you can log into profile and what are the requirements for your password. And over here you will see the option. In the day-to-day life we see that our password should have user, doesn't have username. It's to have special character and all those things. These all things we define over here. What exactly your password should contain. Within how many days it will expire. Do you need to remember the previous one and all those options and then the session restriction? If you enter 3 times or 5 times wrong password, 5 times wrong password, for how many duration of time your account should be locked? Whether you want to make a disable or enable, you can go ahead and play around those things with password and all those things. We come over here and we do those things. Mobile application setting means there is a mobile application for UKG which is used by employee in order to do the punches or in order to see their schedule and other things. But in order to do the punches, in order to do the punches, there is to come within a range. That is known as known IP address. We'll talk about it in common setup. You need to put in your latitude and longitude. Within you put the radius, let's say 15 meter of radius. Within 15 meter of radius. If you want to punch in with a mobile, you can do it. Now how the punches will be done. Whether you want a password or you want a biometric, just a fingerprint will help us. And what all restriction you want, you can put it over here. This is all about your login restrictions, your password restriction. And then we are go ahead. This is all about the access profile. Now any concern with the schedule and basic scheduling and access profile. On the access profile for the login for the mobile can click. That's what we are going on the mobile access. That will pop up if you have the mobile license and install. That's true. We need mobile access. License or entitlement for that. Then only we can share that mobile application they can download. And why this credential they can use. Correct. And there are a few more other things like known IP address needs to be configured in order to use them. Otherwise, they can only use that in order to view their schedule and do those things. Just viewing kind of work they can do. They won't be able to do the transfer to the punch and punch out. And how we want to learn. Over here. Under the common setup, we have known IP address or known places. Known places. Over here we define that. IP address your latitude, longitude. What would be the radius under which you can come and then you can do the punch in and punch out. Longitude, those things we mentioned over here. That's very cool. As far as the employee being, I guess a particular range of the office to be able to clock in and clock out. Don't click that on the log in with the mobile apps. If we don't click that, you had biometrics and then your normal password. No, I'm not sure any. Either biometric or either your password. Any. But if you just wanted them to be able to do password, then we would click on password. Only got you. Well, now did you get a chance to go to the business structure documents? I did review the business structure documents. Like I said, I couldn't test it out because that's how I figured I couldn't get in. Because I was trying to go in and kind of, try to build a business structure, set it up, and I couldn't get in. Now, business structure, basically what it does. If you have gone to document, you might have seen few of the architecture as page number 11 or 13. Approximately that. You might have seen a company US and Canada or something like that. There was a structure, company structure, where you will see different department, different location, different country name, and at the bottom you might have seen the jobs. This is the actual hierarchy the company follows in their day-to-day life, correct? In real-time scenario, what your company's hierarchy is, we need to tell that thing to the system. Then only he will understand who is having the highest position, who is at the lowest position, and where exactly a person will be. You're breaking up. Harish, I can't hear you. What I was saying, the business structure will help us or help the employee to understand what jobs you are doing or what job you got hired for and at which location. Without business structure, no one would be able to understand where he needs to go and what jobs he has to accomplish or he needs to work for. Now let's say I'll ask you, you got hired as a Kronos developer. Just by saying the Kronos developer, will you be able to locate the office or understand under which department, under which project, or at which like floor or something? You will not be able to get that. The business structure help us to understand those things. Usually HR will share the details. Like you will be going to the, let's say, India location or US location, and over there you will go to that particular state and all those things. But in system we need to replicate those things also. Then only system will understand. The replicating the hierarchy of an organization is done by business structure. Now, the very few things as we talked in duration this conversation, we talked about the jobs, the hierarchy, the structure, which is mostly like a tree, like structure. And the third thing, we talked about the different levels, like if you say about the level that is over. Here we call it as locations that we can say. Let's say we talked about different sites, different location, different jobs, and then we talked about different country. These are the three categories which comes together to make a business structure. These three things are over here: jobs, the hierarchy and the levels, which usually we call it as that is a type, but the hierarchy which we wanted to create will be under location, the jobs. What all jobs is there in your company, that is under the jobs, and the different levels, the different types, that the levels is basically known as types over here. These three things, the company, the countries, then different states, then different, let's say, location, then different site, different department, all comes together under the location. Now the better way to understand, give me 1 second, I'll open a document, that business structure document which I have shared with you, that we can go through that thing. It's mostly a page number 11. Now it's page number 13. This is configured jobs page number. I just forgot the page number. Give me 1 second. For now, refer this one, but the main page is not here. Give me 1 second. I'll find it out for you, that it would be easier for both of us for you to understand 23 or something. This is what I was talking about. This is the actual business structure. In real time also. The same kind of thing would be there into the system. And there would be the jobs. One more thing. If we talk about jobs, jobs can be assigned to any place. In the business structure, I guess it's not strictly like we will be going at the bottom. No, that's not the thing. We can assign it at any place. Because for the A, B, C company, there would be the CEO, correct? We can assign a job CEO over here. For Canada, we can assign country head. For USA also, we can assign country detail. We can say B, you head store manager. Store manager. Store manager is already over here. Jobs can be assigned at different places. All the jobs needs to be created on the job section which we saw. And the location is basically the hierarchy. This whole hierarchy and the different levels. As we talked, different site, different whatever the country, they have their business unit, different states, different region, all those will be considered as a types. These three things comes together to make a business structure. Clear with this one or any doubt with this? Now on the types we have location. I know we have type, location and job. Type is this one. This is typical the company, the country, the region, the state, the departments, the business units of what all things comes up. That can have the things which we are. The same, similar kind of thing which we talk under labor levels. If you say different things were there, but there is a slight difference between using the labor levels and the main or business structure. The main thing, the category. Basically, we can understand type as a category or a particular level. Whichever you want, you can go ahead, but location is something which brings the different types and different jobs together. Actual hierarchy. Location is a business structure. Instead of that, if they would have told it as a business structure, it would be easier for us to understand. But as per their understanding, they have given a locations. With this location, if I tell you you need to work as a store manager in store B, by seeing the hierarchy, you will be understanding. You need to go to A, B, C company, USA retail, then store B, and then the store manager. That's the help of business structure, and it helps us to schedule the employees. Tell the primary location or primary job of an employee that they will understand where exactly they need to work. Now there are a few more things on top of this particular business structure. Now let's say there is a store manager at store A, or let's go on a bigger site. Let's say there is a country head for USA. And let's assume the same hierarchy is there for Canada. And there would be a country head for Canada also. There would be few things or few restrictions which we need to implement that the USA country head cannot take care or cannot interfere between the USA. Like, sorry, USA will not be interfering with the Canada employees. Or Canada manager will, like country head, will not taking care of the USA. If you have the access of USA, you would be able to get the USA employees access. That access control thing is done by org set. That is usually we call it as org set, but it's the organization sets. Let it go. This one. The organizational set. In short, we call it as org set. This org set help us to restrict that. If you have the access of USA, you will not be able to take care of, you will not be able to see the employees under the Canada or at a general or a lower level. If you are the manager of store A, you won't be able to see the store B employees. And under that also, if we want to restrict a person, let's say cashier will have a cashier team lead. Store manager may be having a senior store manager or someone. We can restrict. The cashier team lead will have the access for all the cashiers under the store A. And cashier for store B will have their lead, who will take care of those things for the cashier of store B. That kind of granular level of smallest level of restriction also we can implement using the org set. Restriction over the business structure is done by org set. Now, What are the different types of org set? There are two types of organization set. Now, the first type will give you the access of seeing the employees for that particular location or job. That means if I'll give you the access for store A, you would be able to see the employees of store A only. You won't be able to see the employees of store B. Same case for higher level. If I give you the access for retail, you will see the retail one. If I give you the access for Canada, you will see Canada employees. Now the another type is if I will giving you the access of, let's say, under the USA, there are three. Let's say retail distribution and supplier. There are three different business units. If I'll give you the access of retail and distribution using the second type, that is known as job transfers or transfer organization set. We call it as transfer organization set. That will restrict you to transfer the employee from one job to another job. If you have the access for retail and distribution, you won't be able to transfer the employees to the what was supplier. The supplier one. Now, if I'll give you the access of USA under the USA retail distribution and supplier, that means using the manager organization set, you would be able to see the employees of all three business units. But under the job organization set or transfer organization set, I have only given you the access of retail and distribution. You can transfer the employees from retail to distribution under the retail store A to distribution store A, but you won't be able to transfer the employees from retail store A to supplier store A because you don't have the access of supplier under your transfer organization set. Understood. Or you want one more example? Now one more example might be, I'm not sure you might know about Mumbai, Delhi, I would say Kashmir. These are the let's say three different regions or state. Over there, every single one has Department 1, DPD, Department 1, Department 2, Department 3. And now over there we have job. I'll name Kronos developer, database developer or manager. Every single one has their own. Like Mumbai will have Department 1, Department 2, Department 3. Delhi will have Department 1, Department 2, Department 3. Department 1 will have Kronos developer, database developer and manager. Similar way, the hierarchy is in a tree form. Now the access. Now let me give you the names of those. You will relate more. We have manager organizations group, transfer organization group or manager org set or transfer org set. These are the two. Now, if you talk about manager, this manager or group, or you want to say it as manager org set, same thing. It will give you the access of the employees you can see or manager can see. Employees manager can see. Now what about the job or transfer org set? Transfer org, group or set. It will give you the access to transfer employees to that location or jobs. Now, this is all about the definition thing. Now, coming to this part, let's crop this one. I'll do this now under the access part. Now I'll call it as MOG for understanding, and for this I'll call it as TOG. Now under the MOG, you have the access for Mumbai, Delhi, all department. Got it. But under the TOG, you have the access for Mumbai, Delhi, and there is only department 1. Or let's say again, let it be department 1. Now what it would be? With the manager or group, you would be able to see the employees under the Mumbai and Delhi with all the department and all the jobs. That's what the manager or group do. You would be able to see the Kronos developer under department 1 for Mumbai, Kronos developer under department 3 for Mumbai, Kronos developer for department 2 under Delhi, or similar way you would be see all the jobs for all the department for these 2 states. But under the transfer organization group, you have only Mumbai and Delhi and department 1. Now, what would be the case if you want to transfer an employee from Mumbai to Delhi? Mumbai to Delhi from department 1 Kronos developer to department 2 Kronos developer. Is that possible with this access? Based on this, we can see all employees under Mumbai and Delhi. Because it has all department access. But we can transfer employees from Mumbai to Delhi for department 1 only because we have specified department 1. That means no access to other departments. Now, if I want to transfer someone from Mumbai Depth 1 Kronos developer to, I am just typing many hosts that it will go to Mumbai department to Kronos developer. Is this possible? I want to transfer. It's all about transfer. Want to transfer. What does this do? Do is help us to transfer the employee. But under the transfer, what access we have? We can transfer employee from Mumbai, Delhi only for department 1. But now I want to transfer to which one department 2? But we don't have the access for department 2. This will restrict us to transfer. This will become an invalid transfer and the manager will not be able to transfer. Let's say you are a manager for a team and your team has these 3 jobs. Let's say KDVA and Boomi developer. Now I have given you the access under the manager organization group that you can see all this implies. KDDVA and Bhumi, that would be MM, org. I'll paste it. But under the T, org I'll just give you because Bhumi and Kronos developer is similar. DVA is a bit different. I have given you the transfer option for this too. Now will you be able to transfer Kronos developer to a database developer? Will you be able to transfer any DVA employee to the Kronos developer? Not a DVA. That's how it works. The transfer organization group. If you don't have the access for that, you won't be able to transfer. Now the names. You already know the manager organization or T-org transfer organization group. This is all about the restriction. That's how we put the restriction on a business structure over here. You will see the structure if you go deep down. Let's say you under the PA, you go again. You can go deep down. You want to give the access for distribution. You will select that. Distribution, retail, and you will make it as manager. That means that particular employer, that particular manager will be able to see both the employees. But if I make it as transfer organization group and I remove distribution, that means he would be able to transfer the employees under the retail only. Correct. That's how, if you don't have the access for DVA, you won't be able to transfer the employees to that job. I will talk about how we create those things with Tori. Just the theory we are going through. This too topic is clear. What exactly the org set do? What are the things there in the business structure? Jobs and business structure. This too, one is clear. And remember there are two types of org group. The manager org group and transfer org group. Manager org group help us to see the employees to the manager. Whereas transfer org group help us or help the manager to transfer the employees within the jobs or location for which he or she has the access. Now what about the labor levels? Over here we call it as labor categories. And labor category or labor levels, both are almost same, but there are few differences which we will talk. Under the labor category, what exactly labor categories do? The things which cannot be used in business structure. Something like shift or a project. These things usually we don't assign or any. You have any crew or particular team under the project. There would be n number of teams. There would be different shifts. There would be different projects. Those things which can be changed or which needs to be accounted and needs to be taken care by the system. We create those things under labor category. In labor category over here, we can create 6 maximum. Let's say the same thing which I explained. This is the very good example to understand the shift modeling, shift, afternoon shift, night shift, which needs to be taken care because this, if company is paying you more amount for the morning shift, you should know that you have many employees working on the morning shift and whom you want to give the access for morning shift. Let's say for morning shift there would be some different morning and night. There would be different manager who will take care of those two shifts and the other one who will take care of different shifts. The afternoon and evening shift project-wise, there would be, let's say there is a Google project, Microsoft project, Apple project, and we want to account that which particular employee is working over there, because based on the project, we can give some higher amount. Let's say Google is giving us $10 per hour. Microsoft will give us $15 per hour. Apple is giving $20 per hour for their employees, whoever is working. For that scenario, we need to keep the project name accountable for the managers. There would be few managers who will be working for project, and they will understand how their employees are working. Similar way for retail crew, different jobs level, because if there is a discrimination or something, it usually happens, but still if company wants to, it's not discrimination. Let's say if you have higher experience, you will be getting paid more. If you are at less experience, you will be paid less. That kind of thing, which then is to keep in track, apart from the things that have already been implemented. Under the hierarchy, we go with the labor category. A maximum we create 6 labor categories over here. And now it's time to create the details or the data which can be fit into the shift project retail crew. Something that we do, let's say for a shift, we want to create morning shift, afternoon shift, night shift and evening shift. That is done using labor category entries. Under the labor category entries, we create the projects which you talk. Apple, Google, Microsoft will create over here the morning shift, afternoon shift, night shift, evening shift. We create over here for shift, second shift, third shift. If some state is using that, we create over here anything, any level, project wise, the crew, whatever crew they have, let's say, in army world, and there would be multiple crew. Normally in a day-to-day life, also some companies do have different crew. If it's a supermarket, they will have a crew for cleaning. They'll have a crew for front desk. They will have a group for back end. They will have a crew for distribution. Like that, we can create different interests, different values which can be used for that labor category. Now, once your labor category entry is created, now it's time to make a group. Let's say, as we talked, we want to give someone access for morning and night shift. That is done using labor category entry list. But under the labor category entry list, we cannot mix match two categories. If I want to give a person access for Microsoft Apple morning and night shift, we cannot do that over here. What we'll do, we will create one labor category entry. Let's say I'll go over here and under the labor category, I'll select shift, and from the shift, let's say this one, I have selected assign. Assign. These two are morning and night shift. These two I will select. I have created, I'll put the name, I'll save it. Now I'll come over here, create a new one, and then I'll select a project. This will be a different. The second labor category entry list under the project I'll select. Let's say DC1, Apple and Microsoft. I have selected, I'll assign. Understood? Over here, under the labor category entry list, we need to create a separate list. We cannot mix match. If you want to give access for Microsoft and Apple and morning and night shift, first you need to create a labor category entry list with the access of morning and night. Second type or second thing, labor category entry list. Second one with the project access of Microsoft and Apple. Now, how we will match these two things, that a manager will have the access for which one? The Apple and Microsoft, and the morning and night shift. That is done using our next building block. And that block is known as labor category profile. Labor category profile help us to mix match those things. I'll come over here. I will select, let's say this is a shift one. I'll select and assign this one. This shift is giving you the access for morning and night shift. Now what about the project? Let's say this is a project which will give us the Microsoft and Apple access. Now this particular manager has the access for Microsoft Apple morning shift, morning and night shift. Correct. This is a place where we mix match those things. Mix my different category access. Now, if you want to create someone who has the access for morning instead of morning and night, it would be evening and afternoon plus Apple. And what I'll do, I'll create a new one, but I'll not assign. I'll assign this one. I'll go down. This one, do this one. Let's say this is a shift which has the access for afternoon, evening. I'll assign this one. Now we have someone having the access of Apple and Microsoft, but this time the particular manager can only see the employees who would be there in the morning, afternoon and evening shift. Got. On this one, I'm listening. This one, you have access to all shifts. Basically, based on the name, it's all shift access. You will having the access of morning, evening, night and all the shifts. This we can say the manager of both the managers. Or maybe the team leads for morning and night and evening and afternoon. This particular profile will be assigned to the manager that will have the access for all the shifts for Apple and Microsoft. How you will restrict? Now this is about the restriction with the labor category. Organization set. We learn how we restrict the jobs based on business structure. Labor category profile is used to restrict for the labor category. Previously we were not. We were not having the access to club those things in Central. The clubbing of these two things is directly done using employees profile. Now over here, you know about employee group that gives you the access for employees. But now over here we have employee group that will have the mix match of like the combination of both the labor category profile and the manager organization group over here. You will create new. Over here we have labor category profile. You will get the list. You can select it from that and over here this. Or a manager organization group or set which you call. You won't see any transfer organization group over here. Because employee group gives you the access of what all employees you will see. Previously in Central, we directly create the manager organization set and we assign into the employees profile. But in Dimension, we cannot do that. We need to come to employee group and we need to select this particular organization set. And if you want to give a category with those project shift, what are labor categories we have created? I will select this. Now this will restrict with the jobs related things hierarchy wise. This will restrict based on labor level. Understood. Yes, I'm just listening. Yes. Now, this is all about the mix matching and then you assign this employee group to employees profile. Now, Once you the employee, not manager's profile, the manager will have the access for employees over here and the things which I owe here. Now I will be giving you a task. And the task is what we discuss. To practice it out, you will create a normal structure that will have whatever name of company you want. And then we will be. I'm just wanted to make it simple for us to now company name. Then you will say USA or let's say Australia. I'll say Australia, India. The two countries under the Australia you will have. Under Australia you will have Sydney, Melbourne. And then you will have sorry, what if I mistyped or typed it wrong? Forgive me. And under the India you will have Mumbai and Delhi. Now the jobs would be same for all. And the jobs would be KDDA and Bhumi. This is for the SBA and then you will have the business structure. This is B. Now on the labor level, it's already created labor levels or labor category. You will create a project with Microsoft, Apple, Google Shift with morning, afternoon, evening, night and the things which we have discussed. The access wise. You need to do that. Or do you want me to write that? For the access, the one which we talked about from the example. If you have the access for Microsoft Apple Shift, I'll type this one for the labor category. One would be the Microsoft Apple and morning afternoon. Then Apple Google. This is first category group. C group you need to create. A second, this one with evening and night. And for business structure group, you will create MORG that will have Australia, India, but it will have only Sydney and Mumbai access. And there would be T or G. Make it Sydney, Mumbai, Melbourne. Let's make it Delhi. For the business sector T or G, you will give Sydney, Melbourne and Australia. This is what the access you will create. I'll say group 2, I'll say group 1. And then you will create group 2. This is the task. Try to go along with this and tomorrow we will go through this. If you won't be able to, if you face an issue, we will go through it. I'll check and whatever is missing part, we will create that. That would be what we say learning with a practice. I'll copy paste and set it in chat. Please do copy those things. One session would be gone, it will vanish. Copy the access along with this task. Hold. And if you want to create a group based on job, try it out with the based on group. With the job, if you want to do, you can do whatever any kind of things you want to do. You have exercise in business structure document also. If you want to create that hierarchy, go ahead and create. If you face any issue, because we have to go through this configuration part tomorrow. Still, if you want, go ahead and practice it up, and I'll share this one too. The theory part that you would be able to understand. You try to do the assignment, the business structure one. Yes, I think the only thing I need to make sure I do the manager access. A reference to, that's the only thing I have pending. I think I did everything else and I have questions. Go ahead. Go ahead. We have few minutes to figure that out or to answer that. Please. You know, before that I just wanted to give you one thing. Every configuration, whatever you will do. Just mention DJ. Before that you are the initials of your name. That if by chance you wanted me to check, I can check later on. Whether it's configured properly or not. And while creating, I assume that you might have gone through the document for business structure and taken like with the help of that. Maybe I'm just asking. If you get or if you got stuck somewhere in creation part, configuration part, the document would have helped you. I went through it. I went through a course based on our class, and then I did get stuck, confused. I don't say stuck. I was confused on but after I went through the document, I figured out in reference to the types. Pretty much. You had the types already set up in reference to company, business unit site, etc. I didn't need to really do that. I just needed to get to the locations and start from there and build my structure. After I figured that part out, I think I was sailing along because I was a little confused there at first. I was like, I'm not quite sure. I know I'm supposed to start here, but because we kind of just went to labor level. We did discuss it, but I didn't get. Obviously, I wasn't clear on that because I had to go back and revisit it, but I think I'm now. No, that's good. Day-to-day life, like whenever you get a chance to do work in an organization, the business structure would always be present. The way you find it out, this is already there. I need to start from this part that in a kind of a real-time scenario we face. And we might have failed because now we already know from where we start. But in real time, when you start doing the things, few things will already be there. And you need to understand those things. The way you understand, the type is already there. And using those types, we can create the things. The labor levels is already, you might have seen there would be 6. That is the maximum capacity for the labor level. From that point, you extract things. You understand those things and go ahead and create the remaining part of the configuration. That's the main thing which we need to know. How to extract the details which we need in order to step forward for the configuration. Are you saying pretty much with Kronos, they'll have it pre-configured in reference to the standard of what is normally there, like company region or whatever? Usually they follow that fashion, the form of the implementation. But let's say if I'm going to a new company, whenever I go to that company, the project will already be deployed and will be in the production or live application. It's very rare that we get a chance to work from scratch because UKG takes care for 1 year with the dimension. During that 1 year of time period, they do things whichever is required. I assume that it's very rare to get the opportunity to do everything from scratch. Specifically for the business structure, because that's the most important thing and might be UKG. That's just the basic, very first step. I'll say, you get the companies, I can do the system. That is already being done by the UKG during that process. During the upgradation or whenever some new company or new clients comes into picture and they buy the UKG Kronos products. But few things going forward, you need to add what are those things that would be mostly for the location, the hierarchy, the way you add it. I assume you, as you said, you added few things in the location, the hierarchy, the tree which you made. That is the thing which we normally do on a day-to-day life. Whenever the company is going to, let's say it's a supermarket. If a company is going to start a new store at XYZ location, correct? We need to add that details into the hierarchy, the business structure. That's what you did. You started to create a new one. Correct. But sometimes it may happen that we cannot. In real-time scenario, you will see only one parent or root thing, root company, and going forward you will see different things or different branches for that particular tree. There won't be a mess like that. There won't be any other tree. There will always be one, and yes, there will be one more, which usually is for the test purpose. That you can see in real-time scenario. Now, a few things you already know. They're in the jobs. You might have seen a number which we need to figure it out or we need to mention like 10, 20, 100, 200, something like that. Did you notice that number? I did add those in. I put them in the sequence of 10. Yes, it's not necessary that we put that sequence of 10. We can do with the sequencer a gap of 50, 100, whatever your client wants to proceed from. Different companies will have different sequence. Now the concern is why they give those gaps. A sequence of 10. It should be in a normal sequence 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. But instead of that they use 1, 10, 20, a 10, 50, 100, 150, 200. Correct. Now the reason behind that structure or the sequences, the thing which will have number 1 will have the more priority than other jobs. It's a kind of a rank which we give to them. Now, let's assume due to some reason, let's say for a particular office, we do have a department manager, let's say a project manager. And normally what happens at a flow, there would be 2, 3 projects going on. 2, 3 different teams would be coming up, sitting over there and doing the project work. Let's assume there are 3 projects the way we learn Microsoft, Apple and Google. There are 3 projects. Every project will have the project manager. And there would be one more manager for the whole center manager. Let's say the whole office manager. We can say, now going forward, in the configuration part, we gave more priority to the office manager because that particular manager is responsible for all the flows project in that building. He is having a sequence of 10. Let's say sequence number as 10, whereas the project manager has a sequence of 20, correct? Now what was happening? Let's suppose each floor has 3 projects and there are 10 floors. That makes us 30 projects, correct? Now the office manager needs to interact with all these 30 managers in order to grab those details, what is happening with these projects, and then they will wrap up these things and deliver to the senior, correct? This is becoming very tedious, and there would be large number of 30 members is very large in order to grab those things. Let's say 5 years down the line or after 5 years, the company thinks like it's very difficult for a single office manager to grab those information and share it with us or to update the seniors or get accounted. What they did? They introduced one more job known as floor manager, floor project manager. There would be a manager who will take care of all the projects in that floor. First floor, second floor, third floor, fifth floor, 10th floor, every single floor have their own managers. Now all the 3 projects manager will report to that manager. The floor project manager and the floor project manager will summarize those things and report to the office manager or building manager or something we can see. Now the office manager has 10 and if you put 11 to the project manager, how we will fit that department manager between them if we don't put some gap? If it's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. In future, if client wants to add some job which has higher priority to some other jobs, how is it possible to put? In order to rectify those, usually UKG asks them to have some gap between the jobs. Wherever you will see the sequence wise, we do keep the gaps because we want something to be added with the higher priority of something and less priority to something else. Now, in this scenario, we would have gone with a simple solution. Let's say we'll add 10 as an office manager, 20 as a project manager, and in between I'll say 15, sequence number 15, I'll add to the floor project manager. The floor project manager has the higher priority with the project manager and lower priority with the office manager. This is how we create this sequence of jobs or wherever you see those things. The sequence is important. The main function is that in future, if they want to add something with a higher priority of XYZ items and with the lesser priority with a B, C element, we put the number in between both of them. In other words, if we have just say a PMO, you have the PMO and then below that we leave the gaps in there. It's just say we want to have someone hire additional person. That's not, of course, not the PMO. They're going to be a project manager, maybe a senior project manager. We leave that gap. We can add that job in between that. And you'll still have an applicable amount of space to include them into the project manager at a lower level. Is that what we're doing? That's why the number is there in the system. These are the 2 important things I wanted to share with you. And finally, do not forget to like, share and subscribe to our channel.